Good morning, dear friend. The first light of dawn stretches across the sky, and the earth begins to stir. I want to gently welcome you into this sacred moment. This early hour, quiet and unclaimed, is often the most honest part of the day, when the soul has not yet been buried beneath noise. Responsibilities or distractions before the world places its demands on you. Before emails, appointments, or expectations come rushing in, there is a silence in the air that feels almost divine. It is here, in the stillness of morning, that something sacred waits to be heard. And maybe, just maybe, you are ready to listen. Perhaps you have come to this space not because everything is peaceful, but because everything inside feels unsettled. I think of someone I met not long ago. She had recently lost her job after years of loyal service. In the same month, her mother's health declined rapidly, and her savings began to disappear like vapor. Every night she lay in bed, not asleep, but not fully awake, her mind racing, her chest tight with fear. She confessed to me that she felt forgotten by God. Not angry, just invisible. She said the hardest part was not even the hardship, it was the silence. She needed to know if God still saw her, still heard her, still cared. And maybe, in your own way, you have asked those questions too. Maybe you are holding broken pieces of something that used to bring joy. Maybe your prayers have grown quieter, not because you do not believe, but because you are tired of disappointment. Maybe the loss you carry is invisible to others, but heavy in your chest. Or maybe you are not in crisis, but you feel distant from meaning, from purpose, from presence. I want to tell you this morning, with quiet conviction, that you are not alone. You are not forgotten. And even if you can't feel Him yet, God is closer than your next breath. He is not waiting for you to perform or pretend. He is waiting for you to come, just as you are. The journey we are about to begin is not one of religion, ritual, or rules. It is a return to the heart of the one who made you, a return to the voice that never stopped calling, and it begins not with noise, but with surrender, not with striving, but with softness. You do not need to have the right words. You only need a willing heart. You see, prayer is not a magic formula. It is not a list of perfect sentences spoken into the sky. It is a conversation, a divine exchange between your heart and heaven. It is the soul reaching out with hope, even when the world seems to fall apart. It is where burdens are laid down and courage is picked up, where tears are not wasted and silence is not ignored. Faith does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to speak even when your voice shakes. It means standing in the storm and saying, "I still believe." And that kind of faith, the kind that holds on in the dark, that kind of the prayer that dares to expect again, moves the very heart of God. So today, in this sacred hour, I invite you to open the door, not just with your mouth, but with your spirit. Let down the walls. Take a breath. You do not have to rush. This moment is not small. This is a meeting place between you and the Creator of time. You are not speaking into emptiness. You are entering into presence. Are you ready? Then let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, I wake up this morning not with a heart full of strength, but with a soul that feels strangely hollow. I do not come to you today out of overflowing joy or with triumphant songs. I come because I have nowhere else to turn. I come because I need you. This quiet hour before the world awakens feels sacred, but I feel distant even here. I want to believe that you hear me. I want to believe that this whisper from my soul will reach you. But honestly, it feels like I am calling into a canyon, and all I hear is the echo of my own voice. I do not know when the emptiness began. Maybe it crept in little by little when prayers went unanswered, when people I trusted walked away, when the path grew dark and I pretended I could still see. I kept moving because I thought that was what strong people do. I smiled when I was breaking. I worked when I was bleeding. I held up everyone else while silently crumbling inside. And now I find myself here, Lord, not a clear mind or a calm heart, but with awareness I can shake. I do not bring impressive words today. I do not bring great faith or spiritual insight. I bring only what is left, the tired thoughts, the cluttered feelings, the heavy silence, the I try to ignore during the day, but that finds me every night. I know you are holy. I know you are good. But this morning, I need to know if you see me. I need to know if you still care when my strength has gone quiet and my passion has faded. I do not need you to perform for me. I just need you to be here. I need your nearness more than I need solutions. I need to feel the weight of your presence more than I need the weight of my circumstances to be lifted. I need to know that I am not invisible to you, that even if my words are messy and my emotions tangled, you are not pushed away. I long for the gentleness of your voice, the one that does not demand performance, but invites honesty. The one that welcomes me, even in this broken place. If I am honest, Lord, I feel forgotten. I see others walking in blessings, celebrating victories, moving forward while I seem stuck in the same unchanging cycle. And even when I try to rejoice for them, something inside me whispers that maybe I have been overlooked, that maybe I missed something, that maybe it is too late for me. But something deeper than that whisper tells me to come to you anyway. Something inside still believes that you have not turned away. That maybe, just maybe, you are still waiting for me in this silence. So I offer you this emptiness. I place it at your feet not to impress you, but because I do not know what else to do with it. I do not ask you to magically erase my pain or instantly fill every void. I simply ask you to meet me here, in this fragile moment, in this in-between place where I am not fully broken, but not whole either. I ask you to sit with me in the hollow spaces, to be the stillness that settles the storm inside, to be the voice that speaks without accusation. I miss you, God. I miss the simplicity of knowing you were near. I miss the days when prayer felt natural, not forced. When I did not have to search for the words, because my heart overflowed with them. I want that again. I want you again, not just the idea of you, not the theology, not the routine. I want the closeness. I want the intimacy of a soul wrapped in your warmth, of tears that are safe, of silence that is shared, of moments when you breathe life back into places I thought were gone forever. I do not know how to begin again, but I am here. That is all I know to offer. I am here, not because I feel strong or inspired, but because I believe you are still God in the quiet, that you are still present in the absence of clarity, that you still come close to the weak, the weary, the lost. I believe that you will not reject the one who comes with nothing but need. So I come, empty, honest, willing. Maybe that is enough. Maybe that is all you ever asked of me. So let this be the place where something begins again. Not loud, not dramatic, just real. Let this be the moment where a flicker of hope is rekindled, where faith does not shout, but whispers that you are still good, where trust is not loud, but steady. Let this prayer, though fragile, be received in heaven. Let it rise like incense, not because of how strong it is, but because of how true it is. I am tired of pretending, tired of holding everything together, tired of feeling like I must always have the answers, always know the way. I do not. I am lost in some ways, numb in others, but I have not let go of you completely. And maybe that is the miracle, that even here, I still reach for you. Even when everything feels dim, I still hope that you will answer, that you will come near, that you will not let me walk through another day feeling unseen. I open my hands to you. I open my heart to you, not because I feel worthy, but because I trust you are kind, that you do not despise weakness, that you draw close to the brokenhearted, that you meet us, not when we are strong, but when we are undone. This is me undone, not defeated, just empty. But emptiness can be filled, silence can be answered, dry ground can receive rain. So rain, Lord, speak, fill, or simply sit with me. Whatever you choose to do, I will stay, I will wait, I will hope again. Even if it is quiet hope, even if it trembles, I offer it anyway, because I believe you are not done with me. And this morning, I give you what I have left. Let it be enough. Let it matter. Let it begin again. Lord, I am still here. My body may be moving slowly, but something deeper than my bones is awake now. After the quiet offering I gave you, something is shifting. Not loudly, not with fireworks or flashes of insight, but like the way a frozen stream begins to murmur beneath the ice. Something inside me is beginning to stir. A cry, a yearning. It is not desperate or demanding. It is tender, and it rises not from panic, but from a place of surrender. It is my soul remembering what it means to want more of you. I do not mean more answers. I do not mean more things. I mean you. Just you. And this realization surprises me, because I have spent so much time asking you to fix things, to take away the H, to open doors, to give direction. But this morning, As the silence lingers between us, I notice the H itself is speaking. It is not screaming in frustration. It is whispering a deeper longing, something beyond solutions, something holy, a cry to be held, a cry to be known. So I lift this cry to you now. I do not decorate it with beautiful language. I do not try to impress you with my theology. I just give it to you raw and trembling. I want you, not just your blessings, not just peace for my mind or provision for my needs. I want to know you are here. I want to feel your nearness like wind on my skin, like warmth after cold. I want to sit with you, not because I need something, but because I have realized you are the something I need. God, I think I have forgotten how to long for you without shame. I have treated desire like a weakness. I have silenced my own need as if it were an inconvenience. I have compared my hunger for you to others and told myself it was too much. But this morning, I see it differently. Maybe this cry in me is not failure. Maybe it is life. Maybe it is the part of me that is most alive. The part that refuses to settle for numbness. The part that remembers what it was like to feel full, not of answers, but of wonder. And maybe you placed this longing in me all along, not to torment me, but to lead me. Like a trail of light in a forest of confusion, like a flame that refuses to go out. Even when smothered by disappointment, this cry for more is not my enemy. It is a compass, a prayer too deep for words. And it is rising now, not because I am strong, but because I am finally still enough to notice it. So, Lord, I let it rise. I let my soul speak without apology. I let it ache for the things that only you can satisfy, not for easy days or perfect outcomes, but for the holy assurance that I am not walking through life alone, that you walk beside me, whispering grace, even when I feel unworthy to receive it, that you lean in when I whisper, even if all I can say is help, that you do not require eloquence, only honesty. I remember now how David cried to you from the cave, not the castle. How Hannah wept in the temple before she saw her promise. How the leper called out, unclean but unashamed. And you answered. You noticed. You drew near. So I believe you will hear me too, even if my voice is quiet, even if my cry comes from a cracked and trembling heart. Let this cry become an offering. Let it rise like incense, not because it is strong, but because it is true. I do not cry because I doubt you. I cry because I remember you. I cry because I have seen glimpses of your beauty, tasted moments of your kindness, and I know there is more. There is always more of you, not in the sense of quantity, but depth, a deeper knowing, a deeper intimacy, a deeper resting place. I do not want to live my life surviving faith. I want to live awakened by it, stirred by it, transformed through it. I do not want to only know the facts of your love. I want to feel it again. I want to remember the sweetness of your nearness in the ordinary, in the breath between sentences, in the pauses that make space for you to speak. So I make space now. I quiet the noise inside. I stop reaching for control. I turn my face toward you, not with performance, but with permission. I give you access to the H, to the longing, to the fear that I have buried beneath business. I open the doors I thought I needed to keep shut to survive. And in their opening, I cry not for rescue, but for presence, not for escape, but for embrace. Teach me how to desire you again without fear. Teach me how to cry out without shame. Teach me how to need you boldly, without apologizing for the H. Let my desire be worship, not weakness. Let it be holy ground, not a source of guilt. Let it be the language my heart speaks when words fail. A language you understand, a language you respond to. This cry is not proof of a lack of faith. It is proof that faith is still alive, that even in silence, it leans forward, that even in pain, it reaches up, that even in confusion, it seeks your face. So I offer it now as proof that I have not given up, that something inside me still believes you will come, that you are moved not by perfection, but by honesty, not by effort, but by surrender. I have tried to silence this cry. I have buried it beneath logic, distraction, even spiritual language, but it will not go away, because it is part of who I am, made to long, made to seek, made to cry out for the one who formed me. And I choose today to let it rise, to stop shaming my soul for needing you, to welcome the ache as a sign of life. Let this cry rise like the morning sun, soft but persistent. Let it reach you like rivers rising to meet the sky. Let it find its way to your heart, even if it is not wrapped in eloquence. And as it rises, I will not demand answers. I will not demand rescue. I will wait with open hands, with tear-filled eyes, with a soul that is done pretending to be full. I will wait, not because I have no choice, but because I choose to believe you are worth waiting for, because the cry itself is holy, because it pulls me closer to the one who hears, because it teaches me to hope in the quiet, because it leads me not to despair, but to the threshold of divine encounter. And so I cry, not as a victim, but as a seeker, not because I am lost, but because I have remembered the way home. God, if my cry is a sign that something in me is still alive, then memory is the evidence that you have moved before. As I sit here in this quiet space, heart open, eyes soft, I begin to feel something more than longing. I begin to remember, not in sharp detail, not like flipping through a photo album filled with names and dates, but in gentle waves like warm light returning to a cold room. And with every flicker of memory, a truth rises to the surface. You have been faithful to me. I remember the nights I did not think I would make it to morning. I remember the tears that soaked my pillow, and how peace would slip in like a breath when I had no words left to pray. I remember the times when bills stacked high and hope ran low. And suddenly, from places I could not explain, provision came. I remember the people who showed up just when I needed someone to stand beside me. People I never even thought to ask for help. I remember healing I felt in my bones and did not understand. How the weight lifted before I could give it language. You were there. You were always there. Even in the moments that felt like abandonment, you were present in ways I only understood in hindsight. And now, Lord, I do not recall these things to dwell in the past or cling to yesterday. I recall them to re-anchor my faith, because the same God who showed up then has not changed. You are still moving, still caring, still weaving grace into every thread of my life. These memories are not just comforts, they are altars, stones of testimony that declare, you were here, and you are still near. Forgive me for forgetting, for letting the weight of now dim the brilliance of then, for letting the fear of what has not happened yet drown out the glory of what already has. But today I lift up remembrance as a form of praise. I hold it up like a banner over my worry, because when I remember who you have been, I begin to trust who you are becoming in me. I remember the way you held my mind when anxiety was clawing through my thoughts. I remember the sudden calm in a crowded hospital room, the way my shaking hands stilled when your peace fell like snow. I remember walking into rooms that should have overwhelmed me, and somehow walking out stronger, not because I was strong, but because you were there. And even when I could not see your face, I could feel your hand steadying my steps. You have done so much, Father, not always the way I expected, not always when I wanted, but always with love, always with precision. And sometimes, the miracle was not in what changed around me, but what changed in me, the courage I did not know I had, the forgiveness I thought I could never give, the joy that somehow bloomed in barren seasons. These, too, are miracles. Quiet, sacred, deeply personal, and I carry them now like treasures in the deep places of my spirit. So as I remember, I choose not to idolize the past, but to recognize the pattern. You have always come through, sometimes just in time, sometimes after what felt like too long, but never too late. You did not forget me then. You will not forget me now. And Lord, I believe that memory is a gift from you, that it is not just mental recall but spiritual stirring. That remembering releases something holy in the present, that as I recall the wonders you have done, I make room in my heart to expect again. Not a shallow optimism, but a grounded confidence rooted in your track record of goodness. Your history with me is the soil where my new prayers take root. Even the prayers you answered differently than I asked, they carry a kind of wisdom now. I see what you protected me from, what you grew in me through the waiting. I see how disappointment became a door, how silence became an invitation, how delay built endurance. And now I understand that miracles are not always about the spectacular. Sometimes they are about the unseen, the slow turning of the heart toward hope, the whisper that refuses to die. So I hold these memories close, not as relics, but as reminders. And I let them speak, let them sing. Let them rise up in this moment like incense. My praise may not be loud, but it is layered with stories, with names, with tears, with breakthroughs. I praise you not only for what you will do, but for what you have already done. The miracles that no one else saw, the ones that did not make headlines, but saved my spirit. This morning, I remember the God who parted seas of anxiety, who walked into fire with me when everything felt like it was burning down, The God who pulled me from waters too deep for me to survive alone. The one who stood with me in courtrooms, hospital beds, quiet breakdowns, and empty rooms. The one who stayed when I thought I was too far gone. You never left. And now, with every memory, my soul starts to rise, not in emotion, but in certainty that you are not done. That if you did it before, you can do it again. That if you met me in the middle of my need, you can meet me here again. That if you healed what I thought was beyond repair, then what I carry now is not beyond your reach. So I let these miracles, small and great, remind me how to pray, not from fear, not from desperation, but from trust. I do not need to beg. I need to remember. I need to let the stories of your faithfulness become the fuel for today's cry. I need to speak to my soul and say, remember who he is. Remember what he has done. Remember how he carried you through storms you never thought you would survive. And as I remember, something deeper than emotion is awakened. A quiet faith, a steady heartbeat, a whisper that says, he was there, he is here, he will come again. This is not the end of my story. This is just a new place where the same faithful God will show himself once more. I do not need all the answers. I just need to stay close. To remember, to believe again that miracles are not only behind me, they are before me, and they are waiting for the one who dares to expect. Father, as I sit here still remembering what you have done, I feel something rising just beneath the surface, something I have not wanted to name. I feel the weight of what I have carried silently for so long, and though I would rather skip past it, I know you are calling me to bring it into the light. I have remembered the miracles, and now you are inviting me to release the wounds. So here I am, not just with the good parts of my story, but with the H's I have pushed down, the disappointments I have denied, the questions I have been too afraid to ask out loud. I have learned how to function with pain. I have learned how to keep moving while bleeding on the inside. Have learned to smile and say, I am fine, when my chest feels heavy and my prayers feel hollow. But you, God, see through all of it. You do not ask me to pretend here. You do not turn away from the parts of me that are still raw. And I need that kind of safety today. I need to know I can open the locked boxes in my soul and not be judged for what spills out. There are things I buried because I thought time would heal them, but time has only taught me how to ignore them. The loss I never grieved, the betrayal I never faced, the moments that broke something in me and made me question who I was and who you were. I told myself I had moved on, but I realize now I only moved around the pain, never through it. And you are not asking me to dwell in sorrow, but to invite you into it. So I am opening the door. I still remember the words that pierced deeper than anyone knew. Words that made me feel small, invisible, ashamed. I remember the day something I loved was taken without warning. I remember the friendships that dissolved without explanation. The dreams I had to bury before they ever bloomed. These moments built walls around my heart, not because I wanted to become hard, but because I wanted to survive. But now, Lord, I see that you are asking for access not to expose me, but to heal me. So here it is. My anger, my confusion, my heartbreak. I place it before you, not cleaned up or edited, but exactly as it is. I do not want to keep pretending that faith means I cannot feel. I do not want to carry shame for wounds I did not choose. I want to believe that you are not afraid of my pain, that you do not flinch at my honesty, that you are a father who can handle tears, silence, even frustration, that you still draw close when I say, I do not understand. I remember when I tried to pray, but all that came out was a sigh. I remember the nights I asked why and heard nothing back. I remember feeling alone, even a room full of people. These moments shaped me more than I ever admitted. And now, as I bring them to you, I do not need an explanation. I just need your presence. I need you to meet me in the middle of the act and show me that I am not alone in it anymore. You are the God who weeps with those who weep. You are the God who does not despise a broken spirit. You are the one who sits in the ashes with us, not just waiting at the finish line, but walking with us through the hardest miles. So come here, Lord. Come into the wound. Come into the moment that still hurts when I think about it. Come into the memory that still feels like a bruise. I want to be brave enough to face what I have avoided. I want to feel it fully so you can heal it completely. I do not want to keep patching it over with business or dismissing it with platitudes. I want to hand it to you, piece by broken piece, and let you do what only you can do. I want to believe that no pain is too deep for your compassion, that no scar is too old for your touch, that no sorrow is outside the reach of your redemption. I admit that part of me is scared that opening this pain will be too much, scared that if I let myself feel it, I know how to come back from it. But I also know that nothing kept in the dark ever gets better, that unspoken grief becomes a prison. And I want to be free. I want to stop hiding. I want to live with a heart that is soft, not shielded. So even if it hurts, I am opening up. I am trusting that your gentleness will hold me when I fall apart. Hold me here, Father, in this fragile place where tears mix with hope, where old wounds come into contact with eternal mercy. I am not asking for you to erase the past. I am asking you to redeem it, to take what was meant for harm and somehow breathe healing into it, to turn mourning into meaning, to show me that none of it was wasted, that even my deepest pain can be transformed in your hands. Help me forgive, Lord, not because they deserve it, but because I do not want to carry this weight any longer. Help me let go of bitterness, not to forget what happened, but to remember who I am. I am not what they did to me. I am not the losses I have endured. I am not the one who always has to be strong. I am your child, and you welcome all of me. The strong and the shattered, the faithful and the fearful, the bold and the broken. I want to believe that healing is not only possible, but promised, that you truly bind up the wounds of those who come to you, that you really do collect every tear. So I bring them now, every tear I choked back, every sob I silenced, Every ache I dismissed because it did not seem worthy of attention. I give them to you, trusting that you will not waste one of them. This pain is not my identity, but it has been part of my journey. And you see the whole journey, not just the highlight reel. You love the whole story, not just the victories. So I trust you with this chapter. I trust you with the jagged edges and the dark corners. I trust you to walk with me as I unpack what I have carried for too long. And I believe that with every step into honesty, healing is already drawing near. Thank you for not rushing me, for letting me sit in the middle of this and still be seen as yours, for whispering that even here, especially here, I am deeply loved. So I will not run from this pain anymore. I will face it with you. I will hand it to you slowly, knowing you will not turn away, knowing you will not shame me, knowing you will not fail to heal what I finally have the courage to reveal. Father, now that I have let the pain come to the surface, now that I have dared to speak it aloud in your presence, something softer begins to settle inside me. It is not relief exactly, not resolution, but something like light breaking through a dense fog. I do not feel fixed. I do not feel like everything is suddenly better, but I feel seen. And in that seeing, in the deep knowing that you have sat with me in my sorrow, a quiet breath of hope begins to rise. It is not loud. It is not trying to convince me of anything. It does not shout over the ache. It simply exists, gentle, persistent, like the way sunlight slips through closed blinds before you realize the morning has come. I am still here. You are still here. And something holy begins to stir in that truth. I used to think hope had to be bold, that it had to stand on mountaintops and make declarations, that it had to feel certain, confident, unwavering. But this kind of hope, the one you are teaching me now, is different. It does not come with fanfare. It does not demand attention. It rests. It waits. It whispers. And somehow, its softness is what makes it strong. Lord, I do not know what comes next. I do not have a plan. But I do have this moment, this breath, this stillness where my spirit is no longer at war with itself, where the frantic searching has paused, even if only for a little while. And in this stillness, I sense you moving, not in dramatic gestures, but in the subtle shifting of my heart. Hope is not certainty about outcomes. It is confidence in your presence. It is choosing to believe that even if nothing changes yet, you are still doing something inside me. It is trusting that the ground beneath me is being made steady again, that the roots are reaching deeper, that healing does not always announce itself with noise. Sometimes it slips in like a whisper and changes everything in silence. You are not rushing me through this moment. You are not pushing me to get to the next phase. You are simply sitting with me, letting me be. And in that being, I am remembering what it feels like to be safe, to be held, to not have to explain or justify or figure it all out. You are not asking for clarity. You are offering comfort. You are not demanding performance. You are giving presence, God. This is what I have longed for more than answers. This, the stillness that carries weight, the quiet that is not empty, but full of you, the kind of peace that does not deny the pain, but stands beside it with compassion. And in this peace, my soul exhales. I know now that the whisper of hope is not a fleeting feeling. It is a voice that has always been speaking. I just could not hear it over the noise of fear and striving. But now that I have made space, now that I have stopped hiding and let you into the hurting places, the whisper grows clearer. It speaks without words. It says, I am not alone. It says, I am not forgotten. It says, something beautiful can still be born from this. I am not asking for everything to be restored all at once. I am not asking to be delivered instantly from every hardship. I am asking for more of this whisper, more of this holy quiet where I can find you again and again, where I can wake up each morning and know that hope is not something I have to chase. It is something I can receive, something I can carry. Father, I realize now that hope does not begin with certainty. It begins with openness, with a willingness to believe again after disappointment, with a decision to trust that you are still working even when I cannot see how. And I want that kind of hope, the kind that survives the night, the kind that rises with the dawn. Not loudly, but faithfully, the kind that says, you are not finished with me. There is still H in me. There are still questions, but I am not consumed by them in this moment, because the whisper of hope is louder than the silence of despair. It is not loud in volume, but in truth, and truth has a way of grounding me, even when emotions shift like the wind. The truth is, you are with me. The truth is, you are for me. The truth is, you are near. Let this whisper find its way into every empty corner of my soul. Let it settle into places that have forgotten how to feel. Let it wrap itself around my fears and speak kindly to them. Let it tell my weary heart that it is okay to rest, that I do not have to keep proving my worth, that I do not have to be fully healed to be fully loved. This hope does not depend on results. It is not fragile. It does not crumble under the weight of delay. It is rooted in who you are, and that makes it steady, even when I am not. So I lean into it now. I do not try to hold it too tightly. I do not try to define it or contain it. I just let it be, let it rise, let it speak. And as it does, I feel the beginning of something new, not flashy or dramatic, but real, like the first green shoot after a long winter, like the sound of laughter returning to a room that has been quiet too long, like the feeling of light finding its way back to places that have only known shadow. You are doing something in me, Lord, slowly, gently, and I will not rush it. I will not minimize it. I will honor it. I will let this whisper grow until it becomes a voice. And that voice will carry me into the next moment, the next step, the next breath. I do not have to figure out the whole story. I just have to follow the sound of hope. Even if it leads me through silence again, even if it leads me through uncertainty, I will follow. Because where hope is, you are. And where you are, I can keep going. I can keep believing. I can keep waking up to mornings like this quiet, still, holy, and find that hope is never far. It is already here. Rising softly, asking only to be heard. Father, as the whisper of hope lingers in my chest, something else begins to take shape. Not just comfort, not just peace, but a deeper knowing one that moves past feelings and settles like truth in my bones. It says, I am not forgotten, not by you, not by heaven, not by the one who saw me before I ever took my first breath. It is not pride that speaks this. It is identity remembered. And I speak it now because I need to hear it in my own voice. I speak it not to convince you, but to remind my own soul, I am not forgotten. This morning, I feel the edges of that truth pressing in like light against the walls I have built over time, the ones made of fear, comparison, and the lie that I somehow missed my moment. I have often walked through life feeling like a background character. I have convinced myself that others are more called, more seen, more equipped, more favored. I have heard the enemy whisper that I am too much and not enough all at once. And slowly, that lie grew roots. But you, Lord, are pulling them up, not by force, but with tenderness, with truth that confronts the wound without shaming it, with light that enters gently and casts out the shadows I have grown used to living with. So I say it again, I am not forgotten. And I do not just want to whisper it. I want to declare it until every cell in me believes it. Until every insecure thought bows to the authority of your love. Because this is what I now see more clearly. You do not forget what you have formed. You do not abandon what you have authored. You do not lose track of those you died to redeem. And even when I have wandered, you kept your eyes on me. Even when I shrank back, you still whispered my name. Even when I forgot who I was, you did not. God, I want to speak today from that place of remembrance, not of past failure, but of eternal belonging. I want to walk like someone who knows they are held. I want to pray like someone whose voice is recognized in heaven. I want to think like someone who understands that your love is not given in pieces or seasons. It is constant, complete, personal. It is easy to feel overlooked when the silence lasts too long. It is easy to believe I am invisible when doors do not open and prayers seem unanswered. But your word is a louder voice than the silence. Your presence is more real than any closed door. And if you know when a sparrow falls, if you clothe lilies with beauty, then surely you see me too. Surely you have not turned away. So I cast off the cloak of unworthiness. I reject the labels I have accepted that never came from you. I refuse to live one more day believing I am forgotten. You have written my name on the palms of your hands. You have numbered every hair on my head. You have recorded my tears and called them precious. You have surrounded me behind and before, and your hand rests upon me still. Let this truth undo the lies. Let it rewire the parts of me that were shaped by rejection and neglect. Let it call forth the voice I silenced to make others comfortable. Let it wake the dreams I buried because I thought they were too late. I am not forgotten. And because of that, I do not have to strive for visibility. I do not have to fight for attention. I do not have to prove I am worth loving. You see me, and that is enough. Lord, let this realization not be just a fleeting moment of comfort, but a foundation that steadies how I live, how I speak, how I love. Let it shift how I walk into rooms, how I show up in relationships, how I speak to myself when no one else is listening. Let it be the lens I see my life through, not filtered by shame or scarcity, but by belonging. I no longer want to live as though I am trying to earn a seat at the table. I want to sit fully in the seat you have already prepared for me. I want to stop apologizing for my existence. I want to stop shrinking back from the light you have placed within me. I want to honor what you have placed in me by walking in it boldly, not arrogantly, but confidently. Not to prove anything, but to reflect the truth that I am known and chosen. And with that confidence, I begin to bless the person I am. I no longer reject what you have made. I bless the softness of my heart that feels deeply. I bless the way I see beauty in places others overlook. I bless the way I love, even after being hurt. I bless the voice you gave me. I bless the silence I endured. I bless the gifts that took years to bloom. I bless the journey that felt slow but shaped me deeper than I knew. This is not a season of invisibility. It is a season of preparation. It is a season where roots grow in the dark before fruit appears in the light. And just because others cannot see what you are doing in me does not mean you are not doing it. I will not curse the hidden places anymore. I will not despise the waiting. I will trust that you are building something eternal in the unseen. Let this truth make its home in me. Let it echo louder than the memories of being passed over. Let it anchor me when comparison comes to steal my joy. Let it whisper over me when I am tempted to retreat into self-doubt. I am not forgotten. I am not left behind. I am not too late. You are still writing my story, and your timing is perfect. God, I speak this not only for me, but for every soul who has sat in silence wondering if you see them. For every heart that has been faithful in quiet corners, unseen by the world but fully visible to you. For every person who has served without applause, prayed without recognition, obeyed without reward. Remind them, too. Let them feel it deep down. They are not forgotten. They are not overlooked. You are the God who sees. And I thank you, not just for seeing me, but for loving me as I am. For calling me by name when others only saw what I did or failed to do. For calling me worthy when I did not feel worth anything. For calling me daughter, son, friend, beloved. This truth changes everything. It changes how I rise each day. It changes how I face disappointment. It changes how I extend grace. I do not live to be noticed. I live because I am known. I do not pray to be heard. I pray because I am already welcomed. I do not cry to be rescued. I cry because I know you are near enough to catch every tear. So I will carry this truth with me into the hours ahead. I will let it shape my words, soften my heart, and lift my eyes. I will walk in the light of it even when the world feels dark. I will cling to it when doubt creeps in. I will return to it again and again, because it is not just a feeling, it is the foundation of my identity. I am not forgotten. I am found. I am seen, and I am loved. Father, now that I have shaken off the lie of being forgotten, now that I remember who I am and who you are, something inside me begins to shift from stillness into stirring. A holy readiness begins to rise, slow but undeniable. I do not just want to sit in your presence. I want to stand in it with expectation, not with pressure, not with demand, but with the kind of quiet certainty that knows something is coming. I do not know when, I do not know how, but I believe again that you will move. I used to confuse expectation with entitlement. I was afraid to hope too much, because I thought it made me foolish. I feared that if I expected too much, I would only end up disappointed. So I lowered my hope to protect my heart. I prayed softly. I hoped quietly. I waited with my arms crossed and eyes down, in case nothing changed. But I see now that this kind of caution is not the same as wisdom. It is fear dressed up as strategy, and it has kept me from fully living. So today, I choose to lift my head again. I choose to let anticipation live in my heart. I do not want to pray from a place of maybe. I want to pray from a place of knowing who you are. I want to lean forward into what you are doing, even if I cannot see it yet. I want to open my hands not only in surrender, but in readiness, not only to release, but to receive. Expectation is not about controlling outcomes. It is about trusting your nature. You are good. You are generous. You are attentive. You are faithful. You are creative. You do not run out. You do not forget. You do not hold back because you are indifferent. You wait for hearts that are open, ready, hungry. And that is the heart I want to bring to you now. I am learning that expectation is more than emotion. It is a posture. It is a spiritual announcement that I believe you are not finished. It is me saying with my life that I trust you to show up not just in eternity, but in today. Not just for others, but for me. Not just once in a while, but consistently, faithfully, personally. It is not a loud declaration, but a steady one. I expect you, Lord. I expect you to be who you have always been. This kind of expectation does not wait passively. It prepares. It builds the table before the guests arrive. It gathers the jars before the oil flows. It digs the ditches before the rain comes. So I ask you to show me what it looks like to prepare, not as a performance, but as an act of faith. Where should I make room? What do I need to clear away? What doors do I need to open within me? Expectation changes how I live. It shapes how I speak. It shifts what I notice. When I expect you to move, I begin to see hints of your hand everywhere. In the conversation I almost missed. In the quiet nudge I would have dismissed. In the moment of peace I did not expect. Suddenly, the mundane becomes meaningful. The ordinary becomes a doorway to the divine, God. I do not want to settle for a life of small belief. I do not want to grow so accustomed to waiting that I forget how to watch. I want to be like the servant standing at the window, eyes toward the horizon, knowing the master is near. I want to be like the child waiting at the gate, knowing the sound of their father as footsteps. Let my heart be that open, that awake. Teach me that it is not foolish to expect you. It is faith, and faith does not hedge its bets. It leans fully on who you are. It remembers that you are not a man that you should lie, that what you promise, you will do, that what you begin, you finish. So I do not expect vaguely, I expect specifically. I expect you to complete the good work you started in me. I expect you to heal what is still hurting. I expect you to restore what has been broken. I expect you to provide where there has been lack. And I expect you not because I deserve it, but because you love to give, you love to surprise, you love to meet us in the waiting with more than we dared to ask for. I do not expect because I am worthy. I expect because you are kind, you are close. You are not holding out on me. You are holding something for me. And I want to live like I believe that again. Let my expectation be evident in my gratitude, even before the answer comes. Let it show up in how I speak about the future. Let it breathe into how I treat others, knowing that you are working in them too. Let it quiet the part of me that still wants to measure progress or predict timing. I surrender the details, but I hold fast to the certainty that something is coming, something is growing, something is being prepared for me in unseen places. Let this expectation protect me from despair. Let it fight back the voice that says nothing will ever change. Let it silence the fear that tells me to stop hoping. I will not stop hoping. I will not stop looking. I will not stop believing that you are closer than I feel, more active than I see, more intentional than I understand. And when doubt comes knocking, I will answer with trust. When delay tries to discourage me, I will anchor myself in remembrance. When fear whispers lies, I will declare truth, that you are not absent, that you are not late, that you are not cruel. You are working even now, even here, even in me. So let this be my posture today, not folded arms, but open hands, not guarded heart, but expectant spirit. Not resignation, but anticipation. I will not live as if I am waiting for nothing. I will live as if the promise is on its way, because I believe it is. God, let my life be a welcome mat for miracles. Let my words be full of the language of trust. Let my thoughts reflect the reality of your nearness. Let my prayers rise not from panic, but from peace. Peace that expects. Peace that prepares. Peace that believes that something is already shifting in the unseen. And even if I cannot yet name what is coming, I will live as though it matters. I will treat each day as sacred. I will step forward as though I am being led. I will speak blessing as if it has already begun. I will move not because I know everything, but because I expect you to meet me in motion. I am no longer afraid to expect. I am no longer afraid to hope, because you are not afraid of my hope. You are the God who answers expectation with revelation, who responds to hunger with presence, who meets the open heart with abundance. So I open wide the gates of my soul. I roll out the welcome mat. I set the table with trembling hands and a steady heart. I get ready for what I do not yet see. Because you are coming. Because you are near. Because you never forgot me. Because I expect you now. Father, now that expectation has found a home in my heart, I cannot stay still the same way I used to. Something within me refuses to sit and wait and lie. Something inside has been stirred, like an ember touched by wind. It is not restlessness, it is readiness. And I know this kind of readiness cannot simply live inside thought or prayer alone. It must become action. It must become movement. Not because I am trying to make something happen on my own, but because faith was never meant to stay silent. It breathes through steps. I no longer want to live in the tension between believing and withholding. I do not want to talk about trust while walking in hesitation. What good is belief if it never reaches my hands and feet? What strength is there in conviction if it does not shape my behavior? You are calling me, not just to hope, not just to pray, but to move in alignment with what I say I believe. And this movement, Lord, it scares me sometimes. Because I have moved before. I have stepped out in faith and met silence. I have risked and been met with resistance. And somewhere along the way, I learned to wait for guarantees before I acted. I began to ask for signs before obedience, for clarity before surrender. But I see now that true faith often begins in the unclear. It takes root in the unknown. It trusts enough to walk when no one else is walking. So I ask you now, God, help me to move again. Help me to walk with purpose, even if I feel unqualified. Help me to act, even if the outcome is still unseen. Let my movement testify that I believe you are already working. Let it be the visible echo of the invisible yes I gave you in prayer. Teach me to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Show me how to move before the way is fully made. I want to live like the people I read about, the ones who built before the rain, who marched around walls before they fell, who dipped in water before they saw results, who reached out for healing before anyone called their name. They were not driven by certainty. They were moved by trust. I want to live like that. Let my small steps become sacred. Let the seemingly ordinary acts become anthems of faith. Help me answer the promptings that tug at my heart, the call to forgive, to reach out, to begin again, to try one more time. Remind me that movement does not have to be big to be powerful. That even the smallest response to you can unlock something in the spirit. And when fear rises, as I know it will, remind me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move anyway. I am not asking for all fear to disappear. I am asking for faith that is stronger. I am asking for conviction that carries me forward when my knees tremble. I am asking for love to cast out the fear that tries to hold me in place. Let my first steps be toward obedience, not outcomes. Let my posture be yes, even before I see results, because I do not want to measure success by what changes externally. I want to measure it by whether I moved when you said move, whether I loved when it was risky, whether I gave when it was inconvenient, whether I obeyed when it was costly. Help me to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios in my mind, to stop preparing for disappointment before it even arrives. Replace my hesitation with holy boldness. Replace my delay with divine momentum. I do not want to be known as one who only prayed for miracles. I want to be known as one who walked toward them, who positioned herself for what you longed to give, who trusted enough to take the next step, even when the path ahead was hidden. Let faith be my response when questions remain unanswered. Let trust carry me when feelings fail. Let my movement be worship, an offering of alignment between my heart and my actions. You never asked me to be flawless in my steps, only faithful. You never required perfection, only presence and participation. So here I am, again, still learning, still trying, still moving. God, let this movement be worship in motion. Let every act, no matter how small, reflect the inner shift of expectation and surrender. Let the way I walk speak louder than the words I pray. Let the way I forgive, serve, speak, and give reflect that I believe you are present and working in every space I enter. Show me what movement looks like today. Is it a phone call I have delayed? A conversation I have avoided? A door I need to walk through without fear? A dream I need to dust off and bring before you again? Reveal it to me in stillness. Then give me the strength to do it, without delay and without overthinking. Let my trust be immediate, not reactive. Let it be proactive, not passive. I am not waiting for everything to align before I take action. I am walking as one who knows that you align things as I move, that you split seas for those who step into the water, that you send provision where obedience walks first. I want to live like I believe in the God who moves mountains, not only when I speak to them, but also when I walk toward them. Let my movement make room for miracles. Let it unlock what has been held back. Let it activate promises that have been dormant, not because I am earning anything, but because I am participating in your invitation. You have never needed my strength, but you have always honored my faith. And faith, real faith, always moves. I will not wait for perfect conditions to take a step. I will trust that your presence makes any ground holy, any moment possible, any step sacred. And even when I move slowly, even when my confidence wavers, I trust that you honor the trying, that you celebrate the effort, that you see the trembling hand reaching toward obedience and smile. Today I walk not because I know the destination, but because I know the one who walks with me. You are not waiting on the other side. You are beside me now, step by step, breath by breath, leading, guiding, steadying. And when I stumble, and I know, I will let grace be the hand that helps me up. Let mercy be the ground that catches me. Let joy be the strength that keeps me going. I am not moving to impress you. I am moving because you have already impressed yourself upon my heart. So let this be my offering today. My walking, my trying, my starting again. Let my life become evidence that faith is alive and that it moves. Not to earn your love, but to respond to it. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to live as someone fully convinced that you are worth following with every step. Father, now that my feet have begun to move, now that I have dared to walk into the unknown with trust instead of clarity, I realize there are things I cannot take with me. There are weights I have carried for too long. Thoughts I have made my home, habits I have worn like familiar coats. Even when they choke the breath from my soul, and though movement excites me, I feel you asking me to pause, not to stop, but to let go. Because not everything can follow me where you are leading. God, I have grown attached to things that were only meant to stay for a season. Some of them comforted me when I was lost. Some protected me when I was vulnerable. Some became substitutes when I felt you were far. But I know deep down that I have held onto the lesser out of fear that if I opened my hands, I would have nothing left. Yet you are reminding me now that a clenched fist cannot receive. That holding on too tightly is the same as choosing to stay behind. So I bring to you all that I have been clutching, not just material things, but deeper things. I bring you the quiet pride I have used to shield my insecurities. I bring you the stories I have told myself about who I am and what I deserve. I bring you the expectations I have placed on others, and even the ones I have placed on myself. I bring you my need to control, to understand, to always be right. I bring you the lies I have mistaken for truths, and I ask you to help me release them. Lord, I do not always know how to let go. I want to, I say I will. But part of me still clings to what is familiar, even when it no longer brings life. I have grown used to the noise, the business, the patterns that distract me from the H of surrender. But I can feel it now, how tightly I have held things that are only stealing from me, stealing my peace, stealing my clarity, stealing my ability to hear you clearly. Teach me how to let go without regret. Show me how to grieve what needs to end without losing sight of what you are beginning. Let me honor the parts of my story that shaped me, without chaining myself to what no longer serves me. Some things were good for a time. Some things got me through. But you are doing a new thing, and new things require new space. I lay down comparison, the constant need to measure my progress by someone else's path. I lay down shame, the quiet voice that tells me I should have done more by now. I lay down bitterness, the grip of old wounds that whisper I can never fully be free. I lay down approval seeking, the exhausting dance of trying to please everyone but you. I lay down the lesser, not because it was always evil, but because it is no longer enough. And in the space that letting go creates, I ask you to fill me again with what is true, what is holy, what is lasting. Fill me with courage to stay open. Fill me with discernment to know what to hold and what to release. Fill me with peace that does not come from having everything in place, but from knowing I am where you are. Letting go is not failure. It is faith. It is trusting that if you are asking for my surrender, it is only because you are making room for something greater. I do not want to reach for something new while dragging chains from the past. I want to walk freely, lightly, joyfully. So I name what I must release, not in shame, but in trust. I speak it out. I bring it into the light, because what stays in the dark owns me. But what I surrender to you becomes transformed. I release fear of missing out. I release the voices that try to convince me I am behind. I release resentment toward the doors that never opened, and the people who walked away. I release self-sabotage disguised as caution. I release comfort that has turned into captivity. I release every thought that has tried to convince me you will not come through. This act of release is worship. It is not weakness. It is the strength to say, I trust you more than I trust myself. It is the faith to say, I do not need to hold what you never asked me to carry. It is the wisdom to say, I cannot welcome new growth in a field I refuse to clear. So here it is, every weed, every stone, every broken root I have been nursing in the soil of my heart. I give it to you now, and I ask you to do what only you can do. Uproot what I could not, heal what I buried, free what I have tried to manage, tear down what I kept propped up out of habit. I do not want anything in my life to be built on what is false. I do not want to trade authenticity for appearance, or depth for performance, or obedience for comfort. I want to walk in truth, even if it costs me everything I once clung to. Lord, remind me that what you give is always better than what you ask me to release, that you do not remove without purpose, that every pruning prepares me for more fruit, that every yes to you is a no to what once held me back. And though it may sting in the moment, I trust that nothing surrendered to you is ever wasted. Let this letting go become the beginning of renewal. Let this be the clearing before the rain. Let this be the hush before the symphony. Let this be the moment where freedom breathes deeper than fear, where surrender feels lighter than control, where obedience becomes joy. And when my fingers curl back around what I have surrendered, because I know my humanity will try remind me gently, remind me that I already chose freedom, that I already decided to trust, that I already said yes. Help me say yes again and again. Each day, each moment, not just with words, but with choices. Not just with prayers, but with action. You are not asking me to walk empty. You are asking me to walk unburdened, to move forward unchained. And I believe you will be faithful to meet me in every space I clear, to fill every gap with grace, to replace every lesser thing with what is truly good. So I take a breath, and I open my hands once more. Not just for today, but for this journey you are taking me on. I let go not because it is easy, but because I trust you with what comes next. I trust you with what I have left behind. I trust you with what you are still unfolding. And in that trust, I will walk lighter. I will speak kinder. I will breathe deeper. I will believe fuller. I will remember that freedom was always the invitation, that letting go was never about loss, but about making room for life. And I choose that life now. One unburdened by the lesser, one made whole in your hands. Father, now that I have released what was weighing me down, now that my hands are open and my heart is lighter, I sense you calling me forward not only to walk, but to stretch. Not just to move with ease, but to reach beyond what feels safe, to lean into territory I have not yet claimed. And though I feel the wind of freedom at my back, I also feel the resistance in my own chest, the trembling that comes when stretching requires faith I have not had to use before. Because stretching is not comfortable. It pulls at places in me that have long remained hidden or still. It awakens muscles I forgot were there, asks for courage I thought had grown quiet. And yet, you are inviting me into this divine tension, this holy discomfort that precedes growth. You are not asking me to prove anything. You are simply asking me to extend myself in trust, to reach toward a promise I cannot yet touch, but believe is real. So I lift my soul to you again, God, and I ask for the strength to stretch, to go beyond the edges of what I have known, beyond the borders of what is familiar. Not recklessly, but faithfully, not chasing something, but responding to you. I know you do not ask for the impossible, but you often ask for the uncomfortable, because it is in that space where your power meets my willingness, where my obedience becomes the ground for miracles to bloom. I do not want to live with arms folded and heart guarded. I want to reach with abandon. I want to extend grace where bitterness once lived. I want to give generously where fear once held me back. I want to speak when I used to shrink. I want to show up fully when I used to hide. Let this stretch not be about striving, but about surrender. Let it not be about pressure, but about posture. God, you are stretching me toward a version of myself that is shaped by faith, not fear. And I feel it how I am being asked to forgive deeper, love wider, believe bolder, to see beyond what is immediately visible and lean into what you are quietly building. Even now, as I speak these words, I can feel the soft call that asks me to move past the shore and into deeper waters, not with panic, but with peace. Stretch me in the way I pray. Take my small, safe words and teach them to rise with authority. Stretch me in the way I believe. Let my faith not be confined to what I have seen before. Stretch me in the way I love. Let it go further than convenience and comfort. Stretch me in the way I dream. Let me imagine more than I have dared to ask for, not because I need more, but because you are more. This stretch is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the sacred in-between where I am no longer who I was, but not yet all I will become. And I feel the tension of that. I feel the H of transition, but I also feel the invitation one that says, do not turn back, do not shrink, do not settle. You are being shaped for something greater. You are being made strong, not just in spirit, but in surrender. So I stretch. Father, even when I feel the pull in places that have grown stiff from silence or disappointment, even when I feel unsure of where it leads, I stretch not because I have full confidence in myself, but because I have full confidence in you. You would not lead me into this moment unless you had already prepared something on the other side of it. Let this stretch make space in me for what you are bringing. Let it widen the walls of my heart so that hope has room to grow. Let it make me more flexible where I have become rigid. Let it soften what once hardened in me. And let it teach me again that growth always involves tension, but it is the kind of tension that leads to transformation. I know that you are a God of promises, but your promises are not accessed by comfort. They are reached through obedience, through faith that extends itself, even when the outcome is unseen. Just like the man with the withered hand who stretched it toward Jesus without knowing what would happen. Just like the woman who reached through a crowd with trembling hope. Just like Peter stepping onto the water. They all moved beyond what made sense, and in doing so, they met you in power. Help me do the same. Help me to recognize the moments where stretching looks like staying silent, when I want to defend myself, or speaking up when fear tells me to remain quiet, or trusting again when experience tells me to shut down. Stretching is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness in secret, or returning to the altar one more time when nothing seems to change, or giving when it costs me, or choosing joy when sorrow feels easier. Let me not underestimate what these small, surrendered stretches can do. Let me not minimize their power, because each one moves me closer to the person you already see in me. Each one strengthens my capacity to carry what you are pouring out. Each one trains my soul to trust beyond the visible. Stretching also means waiting differently. Not passively, but actively, expectantly, willingly. It means standing in tension with peace instead of panic. It means walking forward without needing to know every detail. It means resting while reaching, breathing while believing, trusting while trying, and all of it, Lord, all of it is an act of worship. So stretch me, not just in moments of crisis, but in ordinary days where faith is tested in quiet ways. Stretch my time so that I prioritize what truly matters. Stretch my capacity to forgive, to listen, to serve. Stretch my heart to make room for people I once kept at a distance. Stretch my soul so that your spirit has more space to move freely in me. And when I am tempted to retreat, when the stretch feels too painful, when the process feels too long, remind me of the promise. Not just the one out in front of me, but the one who goes with me. Remind me that you are not just calling me forward, but walking alongside me. That you are not watching from a distance, but whispering with every step. Keep going. I am with you. You have never stretched me without purpose. You have never asked me to go further just to see me struggle. You stretch me because you love me, because you see more for me than I see for myself, because you are not content to let me remain small when you created me to carry something eternal. So I embrace the stretch. I do not resist it. I lean into it. I welcome it, even with shaking hands, because it is a sign that you are still working, that there is still more ahead, that I am being made ready, not rushed, but refined, not pressured, but positioned. And I believe, with all my heart, that what you are stretching me toward is worth it, that the promise is real, that the joy is coming, that the breakthrough is closer than it seems. So I will keep reaching, not in striving, but in surrender, not to grasp control, but to receive what you have already prepared. I stretch, and I believe you meet me here, Lord, as I continue to stretch and reach with surrendered hands. I begin to understand that some of the greatest faith is found not in movement, but in stillness, not in what I can control, but in how I choose to wait. And so, here I am learning to wait in wonder, not worry, to stand in the place between what has been spoken and what has not yet been seen, and still believe you are working in the waiting. It is so easy, God, to equate silence with absence, to assume that if I cannot feel a surge of momentum, then maybe the promise has paused. But you are teaching me that delay is not denial, That waiting is not wasted. That in the stillness, you are not only preparing what is ahead of me, but also shaping what is within me. My soul becomes pliable in the pause. My thoughts are recentered. My faith is recalibrated. And in that space, I begin to see not with anxious eyes, but with awakened wonder. You are not a hurried God. You move in rhythms of grace, not rush. And when you call me to wait, it is not a punishment, but a protection, a divine slowdown that invites me into deeper trust, a gentle hand on my shoulder whispering, "You do not need to run to prove your belief. You simply need to stay with me." And it is in that staying that I discover beauty I would miss if I were always in motion, the kind of beauty that lives in quiet details, in small reassurances, in daily mercies. Father, help me to wait with a heart full of expectation, not complaint, to speak words of life over seasons that feel slow, to worship while I wait, not because it makes time pass faster, because it roots me deeper in you. Teach me to wake each morning, not measuring progress in visible outcomes, but in unseen alignment, in how well I am becoming the person who can receive what I am waiting for. Because sometimes you are less interested in what arrives next and more focused on who I become in the meantime. Let this waiting refine me, not rot me. Let it strengthen my gratitude. Let it sharpen my discernment. Let it quiet the voices that tell me something is wrong, because everything is not rushed. Let me celebrate the simplicity of stillness, the holiness of holding space for hope. I do not want to pace nervously through this season. I want to be present, aware, soft to your whispers, attuned to the gentle nudges I might otherwise miss in haste. God, I confess that sometimes waiting feels like invisibility, like the world is moving while I remain in place. But you see me. Every breath I take in quiet trust is visible to you. Every moment I choose to believe, when there is no confirmation, is an offering you receive with delight. I am not overlooked. I am being overseen. And there is such a difference between the two. You are not ignoring me. You are intricately involved in details I cannot comprehend. Things are being aligned that would unravel if rushed. So I choose to wait, not just patiently, but faithfully. Let me find joy in the journey, not just the destination. Let me wake up to the little glimmers of grace that mark each day. Let my spirit become so anchored in your presence that even when the outcome remains unclear, my peace does not waver. This waiting is not a void. It is a vineyard. Something is growing. Even when I can see the sprouting, I can trust the sowing, and every yes, every no, every not yet from you is leading me towards something more complete than I could design. Let me not compare my timeline with another's. Comparison is a thief of wonder. You are not late, and neither am I. You know what must be built before I step into what is next. So I will not sabotage this season by rushing through it. I will not force open what you are still preparing. I will not chase validation in the noise when you are trying to speak in the quiet. Instead, I will learn to wait with worship in my mouth and awe in my eyes. I want to wait in a way that reflects your character, not as someone frustrated by time, but as someone surrendered to purpose. not counting the minutes, but gathering meaning in each moment. Let the slow days be sacred. Let the pauses feel like peace. Let the stillness teach me that you are not just the God of breakthroughs, but also the God of intervals, the spaces between miracles where faith is cultivated and hope matures. Teach me to pause without panic, to slow down without shame, to be present with you even when I am not moving forward. Sometimes the greatest leap of faith is simply to stay when everything in me wants to run ahead. Sometimes the most powerful yes is the one that waits for your whisper instead of forcing my own outcome. And when impatience creeps in, when doubt knocks at the edges of my resolve, gently remind me of every promise you have fulfilled before. Remind me that not one word you speak returns void. That delay does not disqualify destiny. That timing is not a threat to your faithfulness. It is simply a detail in the greater design. I surrender to your timing not because I understand it, but because I trust your heart. You see the full picture. You know what I am ready for and what still needs refinement. And though my emotions may shift, my foundation does not. You are my unchanging anchor, even in seasons that feel uncertain. Let my waiting worship you. Let my stillness honor you. Let my expectation magnify you. I will not let the silence speak louder than your character. I will not let the fog of delay blind me to the light of your promises, even in the unseen. I will believe you are near, even in the quiet. I will know you are kind, even in the pause. I will proclaim you are powerful. Waiting does not mean you are far. It means you are forming something valuable. And I will not rush what you are making beautiful in its time. I will lean into this holy hush. I will dwell in this sacred slowness. I will drink deeply from the well of your presence instead of running dry chasing what has not yet arrived. And I know that when the time comes, when the door opens, when the promise breaks through, it will not just be the answer I rejoice in. It will be the way you carried me through the waiting that I treasure most. Because in the waiting, I saw you more clearly. I leaned into you more fully. I discovered the steady rhythm of your love that never skipped a beat. So I will continue to wait not with clenched fists, but with open hands, not with anxious thoughts, but with peaceful trust. Not looking at the clock, but looking to the cross, where time was made eternal and love was made visible. This is where I will stay until you say move. And in this place, I will not just wait. I will worship. I will wonder. I will rest. Lord, as I quiet my spirit once more before you, I sense how gently you have been leading me through each layer of surrender, from the whisper of yesterday's fear to the hush of today's trust. I can feel the thread of your presence weaving through it all. God, you are not a distant voice calling from the clouds, but the still warmth that settles over my restless heart. Even now, I feel you inviting me deeper, not into certainty, but into closeness. Father, when I cannot map out the way ahead, help me to walk by the light of your nearness. Teach me not to chase clarity, but to follow presence. Let your silence speak louder than the noise of my questions, and let the weight of your wisdom quiet the spinning of my thoughts. Father, I release the grip I still have on outcomes. I unclench my need to understand every turn. I hold up my empty hands and ask you to fill them with peace instead of answers, with steadiness instead of solutions. Because even if I do not know what comes next, I know who is holding me in this breath, this moment, this step. And that is enough, God. You are not waiting for me to have it all together. You are waiting for me to turn to you right in the middle of the undone, the half-finished, the still fragile parts of me. You bless the broken in me not by fixing me overnight, but by loving me steadily through the becoming. I am not afraid of breaking anymore, because I have found you most near in the pieces. Lord, remind me that waiting is not wasting. Remind me that silence is not absence, that stillness does not mean you are standing still. Sometimes, you are moving in ways too deep for my eyes to see, working on roots I forgot I had. You are breaking ground where I thought nothing could grow. Even here, especially here, you are growing something new in me. Let me not resist the slow miracle. Let me not despise the gentle pace. I do not want to rush through what you are using to rebuild me. I do not want to overlook what you are saying just because it is not loud. Tune my soul to the subtle sound of grace. Open my eyes to see your fingerprints on the mundane. Remind me that every breath held in trust is a prayer you do not overlook. God, sometimes I confuse stillness with stagnation. But you are not idle. You are intentional. Even when my surroundings feel paused, you are pressing deeper into my character, refining my intentions, shaping my faith. I want to lean into that. I want to embrace the refining, even when it burns away comforts I used to cling to. You are making room in me for something more eternal. So empty me, Father, of all that keeps me heavy. Drain out the doubt that clouds my courage. Pour out the fear that locks my steps. Let only what reflects you remain. And if that means loss, let me lose with grace. If that means less, let it be sacred. I want to want what you want for me, even when it does not come in the package I imagined. Lord, when the world tells me to produce, to prove, to perform, teach me the courage of resting in you instead. Let my value be rooted in who you are, not what I achieve. Let my confidence rise from your character, not my credentials. Let my identity be buried so deep in your love that nothing can shake it loose. Not delay, not disappointment, not detour. I want to belong to you more than I want to impress anyone. I want to be faithful more than I want to be seen. God, in this hour, where so much feels fragile, anchor me in what is unchanging. Anchor me in you. Father, thank you for teaching me how to breathe without rushing, how to hope without demanding, how to dream without grasping. You are untying the knots I have kept in my chest for too long. You are loosening the pressure I have placed on myself to figure it all out. And in the absence of answers, you are giving me yourself. You are the prize I did not know I was chasing. You are the rest I did not know I needed. I do not have to have more when I already have you. Teach me to build my life around that truth. Teach me to live like your love is enough. Like your mercy is new not just in word, but in how I wake up to each day. Lord, show me how to carry hope quietly, not in loud declarations, but in quiet faithfulness, not in grand gestures, but in daily surrender. Let my life whisper trust even when my lips tremble. Let my posture speak belief even when my heart wavers. And when I fail, which I will, remind me that failure is not the end of your story for me. You redeem every misstep. You reweave every unraveling. You write grace into every pause. You do not abandon those who hesitate. You meet them. You walk with them until their step steadies again. That is who you are. That is why I keep coming back. So, Lord, lead me deeper still, not into perfection, but into presence. Let me not fear the slow unfolding. Let me not rush the lessons you are embedding into this day. I know you are not done. I know you are still shaping what I cannot yet see. And I trust that what you are doing in me is worth the wait. I want to live that trust, not just speak it. I want to carry it into my conversations, my decisions, my reactions. Let it seep into how I move through the world, slow, soft, surrendered, not because I am weak, but because I am held. And that makes me strong in the only way that matters. Father, as the light of this new day settles on my skin, I am reminded once more that every breath is borrowed from your mercy. I carry with me the echoes of yesterday's surrender, the quiet strength you poured into the hidden corners of my heart. You did not ask me to perform, to prove, or to pretend. You simply asked me to come, and I came, unsure, undone, unqualified, but I came. Today I come again, not because I have figured everything out, because I know you are the one who never turns me away. You do not tire of my returning. You do not keep count of how many times I have needed your rescue. Instead, you receive me with the same compassion that welcomed the prodigal, the same patience that held Peter after the denial, the same love that remains unchanged by the wavering of my steps. Lord, I confess that sometimes I confuse control with safety. I hold plans so tightly that I forget to let you lead. I build walls of self-protection when what I really need is to lay myself down in trust. You are not looking for perfection. You are looking for presence. You are not waiting for me to be fearless. You are inviting me to follow you even while afraid. So I bring you my trembling obedience. I bring you my hesitant hope. I bring you my small faith and ask you to stretch it with your strength. Let me not be discouraged by how little I feel I have. You multiplied loaves. You filled jars. You raised the dead. Surely you can breathe life into whatever I offer today, no matter how inadequate it seems in my own eyes. God, I choose today to walk with unclenched hands. I release what I cannot carry. I surrender what is not mine to fix. I lay down the pressure to be everything for everyone. Let my no be worship. Let my rest be obedience. Let my limits be holy ground where I learn again that I am not the savior, only the servant. Teach me the power of being still when the world is racing. Teach me the discipline of silence when my heart wants to argue with uncertainty. I do not want to miss your whisper because I am too busy shouting my own plans. I do not want to run past the burning bush moments because I am in a hurry to get somewhere you never called me to go. Lord, help me to see the sacred in the slow. Help me to honor the invisible work you are doing in the waiting. What you are building in me is not for the spotlight. It is for the storm. It is for the wilderness. It is for the day I do not even know is coming yet. So plant deep what will not be shaken. Water it with grace. Protect it with peace. Grow in me the kind of faith that does not need to be seen to be strong. The kind of faith that worships even when nothing is working. The kind that prays with expectancy, not because of what I see, but because of who you are, God, when anxiety knocks. Help me to answer with your truth when discouragement whispers. Let your promises be louder when disappointment creeps in like fog. Let your joy break through like the dawn. I do not want to be governed by my circumstances. I want to be grounded in your constancy. I do not want to be led by feelings that shift like sand. I want to be rooted in the rock of your word. Anchor me again in what is unchanging. Remind me again that peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of you in the middle of them. And you are here. You are always here. Father, show me how to steward this day well, not for applause, not for recognition, but for the quiet joy of knowing I honored you in the hidden places. Let my kindness reflect your heart. Let my words bring healing. Let my eyes look for the overlooked. Let my feet carry peace into chaotic places. Use me as a vessel of your love in ways I may never get credit for, because this is not about being known. This is about making you known. Let humility be my fragrance. Let love be my legacy. Let the work of my hands be touched by eternity, even if no one else sees it. Lord, if there are burdens I am carrying that you never ask me to, reveal them to me. If I have picked up lies about my worth, my future, or my identity, expose them gently with your truth. If I have started walking in fear rather than faith, reorient my steps. If I am striving where you have called me to rest, bring me back to stillness. Your correction is not rejection. It is an invitation to align again with your best for me. So search me. Know me. Lead me. I do not want to walk one more step in a direction that takes me further from your purpose. I want to stay close even when the path is narrow, even when the way is unclear. God, teach me to trust you not just with the big moments, with the small decisions too. Help me to invite you into my thoughts before they become actions, into my emotions before they spill into words, into my mornings before I write my to-do lists. I do not want to compartmentalize your presence. I want to carry it with me, as naturally as breath, as consistently as heartbeat. Be the center of my conversations, the filter for my choices, the rhythm of my steps, the stillness in my chaos, the calm in my conflict. Let no part of me operate apart from you. Father, I ask not just for a breakthrough in my circumstances, but a breakthrough in my soul. Let there be freedom where there has been fear. Let there be clarity where there has been confusion. Let there be softness where I have grown hard. Let there be laughter where sorrow lingered. Let there be wonder again, wonder at the sunrise, wonder at the sound of laughter, wonder at your faithfulness in the details I forget to notice. Make me aware again, make me grateful again, make me simple again. Strip away the layers of self-reliance that keep me from leaning fully into you. God, I know I will be stretched today. There will be interruptions. There will be tension. There will be moments I want to give up. Help me not to respond from my flesh, but from your spirit. Help me to pause before I speak, to breathe before I react, to pray before I assume. Give me wisdom that goes beyond logic. Give me peace that surpasses understanding. Give me joy that runs deeper than my circumstances. And when I am emptied, fill me again. When I am tired, hold me up. When I forget who I am, remind me whose I am. Father, I step into this day with open hands. Not grasping. Not demanding. Just trusting. Just following. Just resting in the truth that you go before me, walk beside me, and remain within me, whatever comes next. It will not surprise you. Whatever unfolds, it will not be without purpose. So I walk forward not because I am fearless, but because I am held by the one who never lets go. Lord, in the hush that followed my cries, when the echoes of desperation faded into stillness, I found myself suspended in a sacred quiet. It was not the silence of abandonment, but the silence of invitation, a call to come closer, not with demands, but with trust. And so I did, inching forward into the stillness with trembling hope, yearning for a whisper, a breath, a touch that would assure me you were still here. And Father, you were, not in thunder or lightning, but in the quiet hum of my breath, the steady beat of my heart. You waited, patient and present. You did not rush to fill the void, but taught me that even the void holds value when filled with faith. I had looked for signs and wonders, but you offered me something far greater purpose within stillness, calling me to rediscover why I seek you, why I believe, and why I continue to rise each morning despite not having all the answers. I realize that it is not always in miracles that purpose is found, but in the decision to remain, to believe, to walk even when the path is obscured. My purpose is not tethered to outcomes, but to obedience. It is not defined by applause, but by alignment with you. You showed me that every pause in the journey is not a punishment, but preparation. In the stillness, you reveal what noise has hidden. You uncover truths I was too distracted to see before. I began to understand that my identity is not shaped by what I do, but by who I am in you, even when no one sees, even when no one cheers. You see, and that is enough. You reminded me that purpose does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It is not always bold. Sometimes it is broken. It does not always move mountains. Sometimes it kneels in the valley and says, "Even here, I will praise." And Lord, even here, in this place between pain and promise, I choose to say yes to the purpose you have placed within me. Though I may not see the entire path, I know you do, and that is enough for my weary soul. Each breath I take is evidence that you are not finished with me yet. Each step I take is a statement of trust that what lies ahead is worth the journey. You are the author of my days, and you write with the ink of grace. You draw purpose from pain, beauty from ashes, meaning from the mess. And I am learning not to resist the silence, but to receive from it. I am learning that what feels like delay is often your gentle way of deepening my roots. I am not forgotten. I am being formed. And in this hidden place, I am discovering strength I did not know I had. You are building something eternal within me, something the world cannot define or destroy. I may not feel powerful, but I am being empowered. I may not feel significant, but I am being set apart. I may not feel useful, but I am being prepared. So I surrender the need to understand and embrace the invitation to trust. I lay down the weight of needing to be seen and pick up the joy of being known by you. I step forward today not with all the answers, but with renewed courage. I step into my assignments both seen and unseen with fresh oil from your presence. I no longer chase significance, but seek surrender. I do not ask for clarity before I obey. I simply ask for your presence to go with me. Remind me that every act of obedience, no matter how small, is significant in your kingdom. Let my words carry healing. Let my hands extend mercy. Let my presence reflect your peace. Let my silence be worship and my waiting be warfare. I know now that even when it seems like nothing is happening, something holy is unfolding. You are orchestrating details I cannot see, writing chapters I cannot yet read, answering prayers I do not even know how to speak. And in that knowing, I find rest. This morning, I stand taller, not because the storm has passed, but because I have learned to stand in the rain. I am no longer waiting for life to become easier before I rise. I rise now, because you are with me in the complexity, in the struggle, in the stretch. Purpose is not something I stumble into. It is something I choose daily by saying yes to you again and again. So yes, God, to your timing. Yes, Lord, to your ways. Yes, Father, to your refinement. I will not despise the silence. I will lean into it. I will not fear the stillness. I will find you there. I will not retreat from the unknown. I will run to it with the confidence that you dwell in every undiscovered place. Today is holy not because it is easy, but because you are in it. My purpose is not postponed. It is alive in my breathing, in my praying, in my staying. I no longer need proof. Your presence is my portion. Your peace is my permission. Your voice is my compass. And even when you are quiet, I know you are near. So I keep walking. I keep believing. I keep becoming. Because this silence is not empty. It is sacred. And in this sacred space, I am held, I am heard, and I am home. God, I come before you again, not out of repetition, but from a place deeper than words can reach. After pouring out my soul and witnessing how your spirit has moved in ways both seen and hidden, I now find myself lingering in this sacred space, where faith grows not through outcomes, but through surrender. The stream of my thoughts continues from the last whisper, flowing effortlessly into this new dawn, where stillness holds power and trust becomes an anchor stronger than fear. You are the God of patterns, yet you delight in the unexpected. You bless in silence and shake the earth when needed. In the hidden hours of morning, when the world is still asleep and only the faithful are watching, I feel you most. I hear you most not in thunder, but in the peace that follows. Your word, once a verse I memorized, now becomes breath to me. It is living and active, cutting through every lie that tells me I am alone, that the waiting is wasted, that breakthrough is only for others. And yet, Lord, you have shown me that breakthrough is not a moment, is a becoming. It is the slow, faithful walk through every dry place, every tear-filled night, every silent hallway where no doors seem to open. And still I walk, because you walked first. You walked Calvary's hill carrying more than wood. You carried the weight of every broken dream I have ever tried to bury. So how can I give up when you never did? This morning, I release every remaining fear. I let go not because I have no fear, but because I have a greater belief in you. You are not finished with me. You are still painting on the canvas of my life. And sometimes the shadows are what make the colors shine brighter. Thank you for trusting me with silence, for it has taught me to listen deeper. Thank you for every no, because it led me to the right yes. Thank you for every delay, for it has preserved me from shortcuts that would have robbed my destiny. I pray for those who, like me, have walked through long seasons of nothingness. May they know that nothing with you is ever wasted. You are working in the roots, in the soil, beneath the surface where eyes can see, but faith can still reach. I lift up the weary, the waiting, the ones who only have enough strength to whisper your name. Remind them that the whisper is enough. Remind them that breakthrough does not have to look dramatic. It can look like standing when everything inside wants to collapse. God, speak to the one who is thinking about giving up today, not with a loud voice, but with a loving presence that wraps around their soul like a warm blanket on a cold morning. Let them feel that they are seen. Let them know that just as the dawn always comes, so too will their deliverance, not a second too early or too late, but right on time. You are never off schedule. Even when we think you have forgotten the address of our pain, let this prayer rise like incense before your throne. Let it be a holy echo for someone far away who needs to know that they are not alone. There are others believing, others hoping, others crying but still showing up. Knit our hearts together in silent unity. Even if we never meet, our spirits are family in the household of faith. That is the miracle of your kingdom, strangers. Become siblings through shared prayers and unseen intercessions. Lord, in this moment, I feel the fragile yet fierce beating of hope. It is not loud, but it is alive. And because of that, I will keep believing for what I have not yet seen. I will trust you with the unopened chapters of my life. I will lay down my timeline and pick up your promise. The wilderness may feel endless, but even here, manna still falls. Water still flows from rocks, and I will be fed. I will be sustained. I will not die in this place. I declare that this day is yours. Every breath belongs to you. Every door I walk through by faith, not fear. If you close it, I will trust your no. If you open it, I will walk boldly. But no matter what, I will worship you in the hallway, because the hallway is holy ground too. It is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is not rejection. It is redirection. You are pruning me, and though it hurts, I thank you because it means fruit is coming. God, I yield. Not reluctantly, but reverently, not out of defeat, but out of surrender. I give you my will, my way, my pride, my fear. Take it all. Replace it with joy that does not need a reason. Replace it with peace that passes understanding. Replace it with love that has no conditions. And in this sacred exchange, birth something in me that will last. Not just blessings that fade or favor that flatters, but faith that endures. You have brought me through too much to leave me now. And even if I can see the full picture, I trust the artist. I trust the author. I trust the one who holds the pen and is not finished writing. What you began, you will complete. What you promised, you will perform. What you planted, you will water. What you pruned, you will grow again. And when the fruit comes, I will remember these mornings. I will remember the quiet prayers, the unseen tears, the uncelebrated obedience. And I will know that none of it was in vain. Father, as I continue to rest in your presence, I sense a deepening stillness that is not empty, but full of your wisdom, full of your peace, full of your quiet authority. The kind of authority that does not need to shout to be heard. The kind that silences storms with a whisper and calms souls with just a glance. My spirit recognizes the sacred echo from what has been spoken before. And yet what flows now feels like a fresh stream. A new mercy meant for today alone. You have brought me to this place, not by accident, not by force, but by invitation, a gentle leading, moment by moment, thought by thought. And now that I have said yes to the process, I am beginning to see how you write miracles not just in events, but in the reshaping of hearts. You do not just change circumstances. You change the lens through which we see them. You have been refining my vision, slowly removing the fog of doubt and fear, until all that remains is clarity rooted in trust. I do not need to know what is next to know that you are good. This morning, I open my hands again not to receive, but to release. I let go of every burden that was never mine to carry. Every expectation that I placed on myself that did not come from you. Every timeline I crafted. Every fear I justified. Every lie I rehearsed. I give it to you, not because I have it all figured out, but because I know you do. And that is the freedom I have been searching for, not the absence of struggle, but the presence of surrender. Lord, I want to thank you for the invisible ways you have carried me, the times you protected me from things I did not even know were dangerous, the days when I thought I was walking alone, but it was actually your hand holding mine in silence. I did not see it then, but I see it now. You have always been near, even when my prayers were dry and my heart was heavy. You remained. You did not give up on me when I doubted, when I wept, when I questioned. Your faithfulness does not waver with my emotions. It holds steady like a lighthouse, guiding me even when I feel lost. And so, God, I choose to trust again. I choose to believe not because I have all the answers, but because I have enough history with you to know that you have never failed me yet. Your track record is perfect. And even if I am in the middle of a sentence that does not make sense, I know you are still writing, still weaving, still redeeming. I pray now for the ones who are quietly breaking, the ones who show up with smiles but are carrying silent griefs, for the single parent who does not know how they will provide, for the teenager who feels invisible, for the elder who feels forgotten, for the one who keeps praying and waiting and believing with nothing to show but tears. God, breathe on them right now. Let them know you see. Let them feel the weight of being seen, not by a world that moves too fast, but by a Savior who never looks away. There is power in being known by you, not just for our victories, but for our wounds. You do not flinch at our scars. You touch them with healing. You meet us in our weakest moments and call us beloved. You do not wait until we are strong to love us. You love us into strength. And that changes everything. That gives me courage to keep going, even when the path is unfamiliar and the road ahead looks long. God, I do not ask for easy. I ask for endurance. I do not ask for answers. I ask for alignment. I want to move with you, not ahead of you or apart from you. Align my steps with your will, even when it means waiting longer than I would like. Even when it means letting go of things I thought I needed. I trust your pruning. I trust your timing. Trust that what you remove is making space for what you have prepared. Let this day be marked by grace. Not just the grace I receive, but the grace I extend. Help me to see others through your eyes, through the lens of compassion, not comparison. Teach me to celebrate rather than compete, to uplift rather than judge. Let my words be honey to the weary, and my silence be a sanctuary when words are not enough. Make me a vessel of peace, not because I am perfect, but because I am yielded. And in my own journey, help me remember that breakthrough does not always shout. Sometimes it comes in the form of a soft yes, a quiet step, a single act of obedience when no one else is watching. Let me be faithful in the small. Let me honor you in the hidden. Let my private devotion outweigh any public display. For what is done in secret, you reward openly. I do not need the spotlight. I need your light in me, shining into the places that still need healing. You are still the God who parts seas and moves mountains, but you are also the God who sits beside me when nothing moves at all. And that is enough. You are the miracle. Your presence is the breakthrough I long for. Everything else is overflow. So I rest, not because the battle is over, because the battle is not mine. It never was. It belongs to you, and you have never lost. Today, I take up joy, not the fleeting kind that depends on conditions, but the kind rooted in confidence. Confidence in who you are. Confidence in who I am becoming through you. I walk with my head held high, not because I have it all together, but because I know who walks beside me. I speak with boldness, not from arrogance, but from assurance. I move with purpose, not from pressure, but from peace. Let my life preach louder than my words. Let my choices reflect the hope I have found in you. Let my posture speak of your grace. And when others look at me, may they not see perfection, but perseverance. May they not see strength, but surrender. May they not see glory. But God, I thank you, Father, for the newness of this day, for the mercies that greeted me before my eyes even opened, for the breath that fills my lungs and the spirit that fills my soul. I do not take it for granted. I embrace it with reverence, knowing that this moment is sacred, that you are here, that you are working, that you are enough, Lord. As I linger in the shelter of your presence, the peace you give settles over my heart like a quiet morning mist, gentle and reassuring. It wraps around the edges of my soul, softening the places still raw from yesterday's struggles, reminding me again that I am not alone in this journey. You have been here from the first breath of the day, and you are here still constant. Faithful, never in a rush yet never absent. And from where I left off, with the awareness of your sufficiency, press forward and into a deeper, knowing that you are not only enough, you are everything. There is a comfort in knowing that I do not have to strive for your attention. You are not a distant God waiting for perfection before you draw near. You are a present Father, leaning in, listening to every unspoken H, understanding even what I do not know how to say. There is freedom in this kind of love, a sacred security that does not demand performance, but invites honesty. So here I am again, Lord, with nothing to prove, but everything to surrender. You have taught me to value stillness, not as inactivity, but as holy ground. In this quiet, I am not escaping the world, I am engaging with you. It is here that you peel back the layers I have worn to protect myself. Here, where the noise fades and only truth remains, you whisper identity, purpose, and calling into the very core of me. You remind me I am not what I have done, not what I lack, not what others have said. I am yours, I am held, I am becoming. And in that becoming, there are many things I do not yet understand. There are unanswered questions that linger like fog at the edge of clarity. But even so, I choose trust. Trust is no longer a concept to admire. It has become the very breath of my faith. When I cannot see the road ahead, I fix my eyes on the one who sees it all. Your view is higher, your ways are wiser, and your timing is perfect. You are not in a hurry because you are never late. I ask you, God, to keep refining me in this season. Shape my thoughts, align my motives, purify my desires. Let my waiting not be wasted, but let it become the furnace where character is forged. I do not want to rush past the process just to arrive somewhere sooner. I want to arrive with depth, with wisdom, with the kind of joy that only grows from perseverance. Let this season be fruitful, not just outwardly but within. Cultivate in me a deeper love for your presence, a hunger for truth, a resilience that comes from intimacy with you. I lift up the ones who are walking through the shadows right now, those who feel forgotten, abandoned, or misunderstood. Let your light break through in ways that cannot be denied. Show up in the details of their lives. Let miracles unfold in small, personal ways, whispers of hope. Divine appointments. Healing that begins with one deep breath. You see them, Lord. You hold their pain with tenderness. Remind them that they are not overlooked, that their stories are not over, that you are still writing. You are the God who works in layers, while we look for sudden changes. You are building legacies, while we ask for quick answers. You are constructing foundations. Help us not to resent the slowness, but to revere it. There is beauty in steady growth. There is power in silent transformation. Teach us to trust the seed buried in the soil long before we see the bloom. You are at work in the unseen, and that is enough to keep going. This morning, I declare that I will not live from fear. I will not build from worry. I will not move from pressure. I will live from faith. I will build from peace. I will move from grace. Let every step I take today be rooted in the assurance that I am guided by a loving hand, not driven by anxiety. Let my words reflect heaven, not haste. Let my posture be one of rest, not resistance. And in everything I do, let there be evidence of the one who lives in me. I pray over every space I enter today. Let peace walk in before me and remain after I leave. Let kindness be my language, humility my fragrance, and love my legacy. When others speak, help me to truly listen. When needs arise, help me to respond with generosity. When conflict comes, help me to choose wisdom over reaction. Make me a peacemaker, not just a peacekeeper. Let the atmosphere shift because your spirit is alive in me. And God, if you are leading me to places that stretch my comfort, I say yes. If you are opening doors I feel unprepared for, I say yes. If you are closing doors I thought I needed, I still say yes. I trust you more than I trust my feelings. Believe in your goodness more than I fear the unknown. Let your will be my desire. Let obedience be my default. Let surrender be my strength. There are moments when I forget who I am, but you never do. When I am weary, you are not. When I falter, you remain steady. When I am silent, you are still speaking. You are not shaken by my weakness. You are not surprised by my struggle. You are the anchor that holds when everything else shifts. Thank you for being my stability, my refuge, my firm foundation. I ask now that you pour out favor, not the kind that impresses the world, but the kind that transforms the soul. Favor that aligns me with your heart, that positions me to serve, that opens the right doors at the right time. Let promotion not be my pursuit, but the natural result of obedience. Let fruitfulness be the overflow of faithfulness. And even if no one else sees it, let me be known in heaven as one who walks closely with you. As this day unfolds, I want to remain aware of your voice, aware of your hand, aware of your grace. Let me not be so focused on the destination that I miss the joy in the journey. Teach me to notice the beauty in small things, the sacred in the ordinary, the holy in the unnoticed. Every breath is a gift. Every moment is an opportunity to commune with you. And when opposition comes, when discouragement knocks, when the weight feels heavy, remind me of this moment. Remind me that I am not alone, that I have been equipped, that I have been called, that I have been chosen. Let me rise with courage, not because I feel ready, but because I know you go before me. You are the victory, not just the one who gives it, and that changes how I face everything. So with my eyes lifted and my heart steady, I walk into this day with intention. I receive what you have prepared. I trust what you are doing. I rest in who you are. Father, as I lift my eyes to meet this new morning, I carry with me the stillness and strength you planted in my soul yesterday. You have been cultivating something deep within me, a quiet resilience, a rooted trust that stretches past the moment and leans into eternity. And now, as the day unfolds, I step forward not in my own ability, but in the confidence that your presence surrounds me like breath, unseen but sustaining every part of who I am. I know, God, that the journey ahead may not be easy, but I no longer measure goodness by comfort. You are not the God of convenience. You are the God of purpose, and in your purpose, every delay carries design, every detour holds a lesson, and every hardship becomes a door to greater intimacy with you. So I will not despise the slow moments or the seasons that seem quiet. You are there, in the silence, doing work I cannot yet see. I choose again this morning to fix my gaze on truth, not on what changes around me. Emotions rise and fall, circumstances twist and turn, but your truth is steady. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. You do not change based on my mood or mistakes. Your promises hold firm whether I am strong or weak. That constancy is my anchor. That faithfulness is my fuel. Lord, take my hands and guide them into what is pleasing to you. Let them build, not break. Let them serve, not strive. Let them bless, not withhold. Take my words and make them clean rivers that bring life to dry ground. Let no bitterness dwell on my tongue, no complaint take root in my heart. Purify me from the inside out, so that what flows from me reflects who you are. There are things I have prayed for, longed for, and not yet seen. And there are things I did not even know to ask for, that you have already begun to prepare. I trust that you are not only listening to my voice, but interpreting my silence. You know the places where I can't articulate my need. You see the H that has no words. And even there, you are already moving. Teach me, Lord, to walk slowly enough to notice you. In the rush to accomplish and produce, remind me that my value is not in what I do, but in who I belong to. I want to live aware, not reactive, not driven by external pressure, but attentive to the gentle nudges of your spirit. Slow my steps if I run ahead of you. Strengthen them if I lag behind. Keep me aligned with the rhythm of heaven. Today, I bring before you every person you have entrusted to my care. Family, friends, co-workers, even strangers I may encounter. May each interaction reflect heaven's kindness. Let me be quick to forgive and slow to judge. Let me see people not through the lens of past hurt or human opinion, but through the compassion you model. You never rushed anyone, never dismissed a need as too small. Help me to carry that same spirit, God. I confess that some days I feel the weight of waiting, not just for answers, but for transformation, for clarity, for healing that lingers just out of reach. But even in that tension, I believe you are working. Waiting is not passive when it is rooted in faith. It is the soil where endurance is grown. where character is shaped, where dependency deepens. Let my waiting be active trust, not anxious worry. Let it be worship, not weariness. You are the God who sees beyond what I can comprehend, while I focus on today's needs. You are orchestrating generations, while I ask for daily bread. You are preparing lifelong provision. Let me not limit your movement by the narrowness of my perspective. Stretch my vision to see what you see. Stretch my prayers to align with your will. Stretch my faith to believe beyond what is safe or certain. This morning, I surrender outcomes. I surrender timelines. I surrender my need to control or predict. I simply say yes. Yes to your will, even when it surprises me. Yes to your plan, even when it redirects me. Yes to your presence, especially when I feel unworthy. You are not looking for perfect performance. You are asking for a willing heart. And that, Lord, I offer again. Let your joy be my strength today, not joy based on achievement or applause, but the quiet joy that comes from being fully known and fully loved. The joy that stays even when tears fall, the joy that sings even in sorrow, the joy that testifies to the world that I have something greater within me than what surrounds me. That kind of joy is my inheritance, and I choose to walk in it. Speak to me, God, in the small moments, in the sunlight streaming through the window, in the smile of a stranger, in the hush between meetings, in the verses that stir my heart. I want to hear you not just in storms, but in whispers. I want to be so attuned to your presence that nothing distracts me from your voice. Let my day be filled with sacred pauses where I remember again that I am never alone. And when doubts rise, because they will remind me of all the times you came through. When fear knocks, let memories of your faithfulness answer the door. When weariness creeps in, let the echo of your promises revive me. You have never left me, and you want to start now. You are writing a story with my life, and every line is marked by mercy. Prepare my heart for divine encounters today. Let me not be so consumed with my agenda that I miss the very miracles I have been praying for. Open my eyes to see where you are already moving. Open my heart to say yes even if it costs my comfort. Let obedience become my joy, not my burden. Let surrender feel like freedom, not sacrifice. And as I walk, remind me again that I carry light, not because I am the source, but because I remain connected to the one who is. Let me enter every space as a bearer of hope, as a vessel of peace, as a representative of grace. Let the way I live point others back to you, not with loud declarations, but with quiet consistency, with kindness when it is hard, with faith when it is tested, with love that does not retreat when rejected. Thank you, Father, for loving me without condition, for calling me even when I wander, for using me even when I feel broken, for choosing me not despite my past, but within it. You waste nothing. You redeem everything. And today, I choose to believe again that you are good, you are near, and you are more than enough for every need I will face. God, as the quiet echoes of my thoughts continue to roll from the hush of the previous moment, I bring to you the still fragile, yet fiercely burning hope that continues to take shape in my heart. You are the one who sees into the hidden caverns of my soul, where words have not yet reached, where only the ache of longing dwells alongside the glimmer of your promise. I sense you drawing closer, not just in the triumphant moments, but in the delicate hush of waiting, the in-between spaces where faith stretches its arms toward the unseen. And as I lean in again this morning, I do not ask for signs. I ask for presence. For when you are near, even silence becomes sacred, and the waiting becomes a womb for miracles. There have been times when I stood still not from peace, but from exhaustion, when stillness was not faith, but surrender to despair. Yet even then, you were there refusing to let go, refusing to abandon me in my unraveling. You turned my ruins into places of revelation. You let me fall apart, not to shame me, but to strip away all I never needed, until I could finally see you not as the rescuer I demanded, but the father I truly needed. And now, I rise not in my own strength, but in the deep assurance that you are rebuilding me from within, one layer of grace at a time. You are not a distant God. You walk into rooms where sorrow has sat unchallenged for years. You pull chairs away from fear and bitterness and sit with me in the silence. You rewrite my narrative not with thunder, but with truth whispered softly until it takes root, and that truth begins to transform me. In your nearness, old wounds no longer define me. In your company, grief loses its grip. I become not who I was, but who you have always seen me to be. Your version of me is never fragile, never disqualified, never late for the life you called me into. So today, I do not just want my plans blessed, I want what you want. I do not just want the doors I chose to be opened. I want to walk through the ones you have anointed. Let my desire not compete with your will, but be consumed by it. Where I was ambitious for success, make me hungrier for obedience. Where I craved recognition, train my spirit to crave righteousness. Shift my motives until all that is left is a heart burning only for you. You are the God who is not intimidated by the mess. I thought I had to present you with progress, with proof that I was improving. But you prefer honesty over image. You would rather a broken hallelujah than a polished pretense. So here I am again, with hands not full of answers, but open with expectation. Teach me to live unclenched. Teach me to live surrendered. Help me to resist the urge to predict outcomes, and instead live attentive to your whispers. For it is not control that births breakthrough, it is trust. Even now, I sense that something is shifting, not always around me, but surely within me. Where fear used to reside, peace is beginning to settle. Where panic once surged, there is now a strange stillness. Not apathy, but anchoring. Not resignation, but reverence. You are training me to see beyond sight, to move without visible assurance, to step into waters before they part. And somehow, that has become enough, not because the sea has opened, but because my faith has learned to swim. Father, I also lift up the unspoken burdens I carry. You know them well, the silent battles I fight behind smiles, the dreams I have almost buried because disappointment taught me to expect little. But you are the God who brings dead things to life. So if you are not finished, I won't be either. Breathe on every dormant thing inside me. Let what has lain asleep in shame rise in your mercy. And if resurrection means release, then give me courage to let go too. Let me lay down not only what hurt me, but also what I idolized. Break the chains I wrapped in sentiment and called sacred. Tear down the altars I built to comfort zones and call me into holy risk. You are too faithful to let me settle, so disturb me where I have made peace with mediocrity. Disrupt me where I have chosen safety over surrender. Ruin my appetite for anything that dulls my hunger for you. If comfort has made me careless, awaken me again. And when I am tempted to chase what I lost, remind me that some losses are mercy in disguise. Remind me that no detour, no delay, no denial can rob me of what you have destined. Your plans do not expire, and what you authored in me before time still stands untouched by failure. Lord, give me boldness not just to speak faith, but to live it. Let my actions echo my declarations. Let my private discipline surpass my public display. Teach me to love when it is costly, to forgive when it is inconvenient, to serve when it is unnoticed. Make my life a loud prayer, a living testimony, a steady echo of your heart. Let how I live speak louder than any sermon I could preach. Let my yes to you reverberate beyond this moment, into every room I step into, every decision I make. And as I walk into this day, I do not ask to be spared the valley, only that you walk with me through it. I do not ask for a shortcut, only for your hand to steady me on the long road. If pain must come, let it produce purpose. If pruning is necessary, let it lead to greater fruit. Help me not to just survive this season, but to be sanctified in it. Let the wilderness grow worship. Let the silence deepen surrender. And let the waiting birth wisdom. Dante, let me miss the sacred in the slow. Your ways are higher. Your timing is perfect. Your thoughts toward me are countless and kind. And because you are good, even when life is not, I will keep pressing forward, not with gritted teeth, but with grateful trust. Not out of striving, but out of sonship. Not with anxiety, but with anticipation. For what you are building is far beyond what I have imagined. What you are preparing is greater than what I have planned. And what you have begun, you will finish, because you never start something you do not intend to complete. Lord, as my heart quiets in the stillness of this morning, I sense the gentle weight of your presence resting upon every breath I take. The whispers of your spirit continue from where you last left off, as if you never stopped speaking, only waited for me to listen more closely. You are not just the God of answers, but the Father of abiding presence. And today, more than anything, I desire not a solution, but the sweetness of staying near you. I remember how you carried me through moments, did not think I could survive, how your unseen hand lifted burdens I could not name, and how you softened the blow of what should have broken me. In the silence, you did the loudest work. In the waiting, you did the deepest healing. In the nights that felt empty, you planted hope I did not realize would bloom today. And now I stand again, aware that the miracle was not always in what changed, but in what remained your love, God. The thought of your faithfulness overwhelms me sometimes, not because you proved yourself, but because you never had to. You were already enough even when I did not see it. And yet you stayed, even when I wrestled with doubt, when my prayers grew cold, when I chose distraction over devotion. You never withdrew. Instead, you came closer, sitting quietly beside my restless soul, waiting for me to return to the place I first met you, not in the noise, but in the stillness. As I sit with you now, I see how often I have feared the unknown more than I have trusted your plans. I have run ahead in anxiety, worried you would not show up on time. But you were never late. You were waiting at the moment I would need you most. Never in a rush, never in a panic, just like you have always been. Constant, present, kind. I hear you reminding me that faith is not a feeling, it is a direction. It is choosing to walk forward when I can yet see the shore, but know you are calling me to step out anyway. Father, I bring you this heart of mine, cluttered with concerns and heavy with decisions. I place it before you again, because I do not want to carry what is not mine to carry. Teach me to release not just in words, but in surrender. Surrender of outcomes, timelines, expectations, and self-imposed pressure. I have spent too many mornings trying to control what only you can redeem, but now I let go. Not because I have given up, but because I am choosing to trust you more than myself. Lord, open my eyes today to the evidence of your presence. Let me not miss the gentle mercies hidden in ordinary moments, the sunlight through the blinds, the laughter of someone I love, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the peace that does not make sense but feels like home. You speak through simplicity, and I have been too busy chasing the extraordinary to notice the sacred in the quiet. Today, I want to notice. God, help me to respond rather than react. When I am faced with frustration, let me lean into patience. When I am tempted to defend myself, remind me that you are my defender. When I am misunderstood, remind me that you understand me fully. And when I am wary of doing good, whisper again that what is unseen is not unnoticed by you. I trust that even when I cannot trace the thread of what you are weaving, you are still creating beauty from the broken. I trust that even when prayers seem unanswered, they are not unheard. I trust that even when I feel stuck, you are still moving beneath the surface. You are the God who parts seas, and also the God who strengthens legs to walk on water. Whether you change the path or give me courage to walk it, I am safe either way if you are leading. Lord, thank you for not needing me to have it all together before coming close. You meet me messy, you hold me trembling, and you never ask for perfection, only honesty. So I bring you the full truth of my thoughts, my fears, my hopes, and I lay them before you like an offering. Not because they are worthy, but because you are, and you delight in hearts brought near. Let today be marked not by how much I accomplish, but by how fully I abide. Let my strength be measured not by how much I can carry, but by how freely I release things into your hands. Let my peace be rooted not in what happens around me, but in who holds me within. I do not need to know what is ahead. I just need to know you are with me, and you always are. So as I move through this day, remind me not to perform, but to be present, not to strive, but to stay surrendered, not to impress. but to love well. Let my steps echo the rhythm of trust, my words carry the tone of grace, and my thoughts return again and again to you. For in every space where fear once lived, I want to build a home for faith. In every place where confusion clouded me, I want a clear room for clarity that comes only from your Spirit. Lord, as the light continues to unfold and settle softly across the landscape of my soul, I carry forward the quiet confidence you planted in the last whisper of stillness. It remains with me like the residue of peace left after a storm has passed, a sacred hush where I can finally hear the heartbeat of your promises. And now, with this breath, I lean into the next step not with fear, but with an ever-deepening faith that you are shaping every unseen corner of my journey. My heart, once restless and trembling, is beginning to understand the divine rhythm of your delays, the mercy in unanswered requests, and the shelter found in waiting. Father, it is here, in this sacred middle, where the miracle of becoming unfolds. You are not just moving mountains around me. You are steadying the earth beneath my feet. Every crack that once threatened to swallow my hope becomes a passage through which your light breaks in. I see now that what once felt like withholding was truly your hand protecting me from what I was not yet ready to carry. You are not a silent God. You are the one who speaks through patience, through time, through the echo of quiet mornings that teach me how to breathe slower, trust deeper, and walk more tenderly with grace. Lord, you are painting something eternal on the fragile canvas of my days. And even when I cannot see the whole, I now understand that you never leave brushstrokes wasted. God, remind me again that miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they arrive quietly, like a gentle shift in my spirit, like forgiveness finding its way back into my thoughts, like courage rising where fear once reigned. You are the God of subtle victories, to the kind that no one sees but you, the kind that transforms me in secret and prepares me for the daylight. I no longer need the world's validation to know that I am seen, because you, my Father, are the one who knows the weight of my tears, the story behind each scar, the prayer behind every silence. I ask now for the discipline to keep showing up, not just when I feel strong, but especially when I feel weak. Teach me that obedience in the unseen places is worship, that perseverance without applause is faith refined, that choosing to believe in the middle of uncertainty is where miracles are born. Lord, if I have only one offering today, let it be my surrendered will, unclenched hands, an open heart, and a mouth ready to bless rather than complain. Even when the answers delay and the breakthrough seems distant, I will anchor myself in the truth of who you are. You are not only the God who parts seas, but the one who walks with me on dry ground. I do not need signs to know your presence. The peace that wraps around my soul is enough evidence. You are here, right now, in this room, in this thought, in this moment where I learn again that faith is not a feeling, it is the decision to keep leaning even when the winds push back. Lord, I release every expectation I have shaped in my own image, and I embrace the mystery of your timing. Help me not to grow weary in the silence. Let my worship not waver in the waiting. Guard my thoughts from comparison and my heart from discouragement. You are writing something eternal with my life, and every word, even the ones that seem insignificant, carries the weight of heaven's attention. Let me walk humbly with that awareness, never rushing what you are ripening. Father, when doubts rise like shadows across my mind, teach me to respond with declarations of truth, that I am loved without condition, that I am held even in uncertainty, that you are still working, still healing, still restoring. I do not need to see the outcome to believe in the process. I do not need to have it all figured out to know that you are faithful. Let your word be the echo in my thoughts when fear tries to rewrite the script. When I feel behind, remind me I am in your timing. When I feel small, remind me I am carrying the power of your spirit. When I feel forgotten, remind me that heaven watches with unwavering attention. My story is not overlooked. My prayers do not go unheard. My praise in the middle of confusion is not wasted. God, keep awakening that truth in me every day, so it becomes my reflex rather than just my retreat. I lay before you today my limited understanding, my worn-out plans, my dreams reshaped by hardship, and I ask for the courage to hold them with open hands. Not clinging, not grasping, just trusting. Let your fire refine, not destroy. Let your winds shape, not scatter. Let your voice become louder than every lie that has ever tried to silence my hope. Lord, show me how to rest even while I move forward. Show me how to carry peace as my pace. Show me how to believe without borders. May my heart not shrink back but swell with the confidence that you who began a good work in me is not finished yet. You are still writing, still weaving, still layering beauty through the ashes. And so I begin again today, not in my strength, but in yours. I rise not with certainty about my day, but with assurance in your character. I step not into clarity, but into trust. And as I walk, breathe, speak, and serve, let everything in me echo one truth. God is not done with me, and what he is building will be worth every moment I waited, every prayer I repeated, every tear I whispered into his presence. Because in the end, it was never about rushing to a finish line. It was always about learning to walk with him faithful, steady, and deeply, irreversibly loved. Lord, as the sun stretches across the canvas of this new day, my soul leans deeper into your presence, echoing the silent plea of the last moment. The breath I just drew feels like a continuation of your whisper, reminding me that though yesterday's wounds still ache, today is fertile ground for your healing. The rhythm of your grace has not ceased. It flows like a river that knows no end, weaving through the dry valleys of my doubt and washing over the ridges of my fear. You are here, steady and unseen, guiding even the unseen corners of my path. I sense you in the quiet pause before each decision. In the moments when silence screams for attention, you are the calm in the chaos that the world disguises as normal. You are the still hand over my anxious thoughts and the voice that reorders the disorder within me. As I step in the unknowns of this day, I do not ask for a removal of all difficulty, Lord, but for the clarity to see you within it. Let not comfort be my goal, but communion. Let not ease deceive me, but let truth convict me gently and guide me toward your will. In the small tasks that may feel insignificant, remind me they are not overlooked by you. The meal prepared in love, the words spoken in patience, the silence chosen over anger, these are seeds of eternity. Teach me not to measure my worth by visible fruit, but by faithfulness to sow what you have placed in my hand. The world clamors for results, but you, Lord, search for the heart that returns to you again and again. Even when nothing seems to change, let me be that heart today. Let me be still enough to hear your whisper in the noise. My weaknesses, Lord, are not hidden from you. I lay them here. Again, not with shame, but with surrender. You know the places where I shrink back, where fear overtakes courage, where fatigue muffles hope. Touch those places, not to scold me, but to revive what has been dormant. Breathe into the dreams I buried beneath realism and disappointment. Rekindle what I thought too late to pursue. You are the God who restores years the locusts have eaten. No moment surrendered to you is wasted. No detour is too far for your redemption. Even when I falter, your faithfulness is not shaken. When I stumble through my prayers, you do not withhold your nearness. When I grow weary of waiting, you remain steadfast. You are not impatient with my slowness, nor surprised by my hesitation. You are the shepherd who walks beside, not behind or far ahead. You match my pace with grace, and in your kindness, you teach me how to walk again when I have forgotten how. Today, I want to learn again how to listen, how to obey, how to believe without needing to see. Let every interruption today become an invitation to rely on you more deeply. Let every frustration bend me toward surrender rather than resentment. Remind me that every person I meet carries a battle I cannot see, and that I am called not to judge, but to carry compassion like a lamp into their darkness. Give me eyes to see beyond the surface. Let me love not with convenience, but with conviction, with the kind of mercy that does not keep score, and the kind of grace that is always the first to forgive. I surrender my agenda, my assumptions, my rush to control. Replace it with the rhythm of your spirit. If you choose to delay, help me wait with expectation instead of anxiety. If you choose a different way, help me follow without rebellion. If you choose silence, help me worship louder in my heart. For your ways are higher, and though I often ask for understanding, what I need more is trust. Shape my will until it mirrors yours. Even when I do not fully grasp what you are doing, God, if today includes sorrow, do not remove it before you have revealed what it is meant to teach me. If today includes joy, let it humble me, that I may give glory only to you. Let me not idolize blessings, but instead bless you in every moment. Make me aware of heaven's nearness, even in the most ordinary spaces. The kitchen becomes holy when I thank you there. The hallway becomes sacred when I speak life instead of complaint. Every place becomes a sanctuary when my heart turns toward you. You are not only the God of mountaintop encounters, but the God of mundane Mondays. You are not limited to cathedrals or quiet hours. You dwell in the creases of daily living, in the hurried school drop-offs, the phone calls, the long meetings, and the quick prayers whispered beneath my breath. Make me a worshiper who does not need perfect conditions to bow before you. Let my devotion be marked by perseverance, not emotion. Let my love be loyal, not seasonal. So here I am, Lord, not offering you polished perfection, but honest presence. Not promising to get it right, but asking to be held when I do not. Not trying to impress you with words, but simply wanting to be near. You do not require performance. You invite intimacy. You do not seek achievement. You desire my attention, and as I draw near again, I find the same tenderness that met me yesterday, the same mercy that has followed me all the days of my life, and the same hand that will not let go, even when I falter. Continue to write the story of today with your wisdom. Hold the pen, not me. Erase what is harmful. Rewrite what needs redemption, and underline the moments when I chose you over self. Let me remember by nightfall that today was not random or wasted, but woven into the eternal tapestry you are crafting. One more page, one more breath, one more opportunity to live aware of you. Let this be enough. Let this be worship. Let this be holy. God, as I linger in this moment, the echoes of all that has unfolded still reverberate within my soul, drawing me deeper into your presence. With each breath I take, I feel you filling the empty spaces, those places within me that had been weighed down by silence and waiting. And now, after all that you have shown me, after all the ways you have peeled back the veil on what it means to wait, to trust, to surrender, I find myself quieter. Not because nothing more to say, because you are speaking so loudly in the stillness. I know now that waiting on you is not a pause, but a process, a sacred unfolding that draws the soul into deeper alignment with your purpose. Father, I come again, not as one who has reached the summit, but as one learning to keep climbing when the path disappears into the clouds. The deeper I walk with you, the more I see that the road to breakthrough is not always marked by fireworks and signs. Sometimes, it is marked by faithfulness in the unseen, by obedience when there is no applause, by prayers whispered through tears no one else sees. And so I lift this day to you, not asking for ease, but asking for intimacy. Not begging for miracles, but asking for the miracle of endurance. The miracle of a heart that will not give up even when nothing looks like it is changing. Lord, you have a way of reaching into the ordinary and making it extraordinary. You take everyday obedience and breathe eternity into it. Help me to remember today that I am not overlooked. Even when others pass by, when voices fade, when it feels like everything is moving forward without me, you are the one who sees. You are the God who never misses a step, never loses track of time, never forgets a promise. You are weaving every thread into a tapestry that I may not understand now, but I trust will be beautiful in your time. Remind me again, Father, that silence is not absence, that when the heavens seem quiet, you are still moving, still preparing, still shaping things on my behalf. You are the God of Abraham, who waited decades for the fulfillment of a promise. You are the God of Joseph, who endured betrayal, prison, and being forgotten before stepping into the purpose you prepared. You are the God of Ruth, who clung to hope in the ashes of loss and found redemption beyond anything she imagined. You are the same God today. You do not change. If you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. God, I confess that sometimes I rush ahead. I grow restless. I reach for answers instead of reaching for you. I settle for solutions when what I truly need is surrender. I build timelines in my mind and grieve when you do not follow them. But you are not a God of pressure. You are a God of perfect peace. You never panic. You never pace. You are seated. You are sovereign. And your timing is never too early, never too late. Teach me to let go of the urgency that chokes out trust, and to lean into the slowness where your presence whispers. When the world demands outcomes, may I rest in obedience. When others celebrate results, may I celebrate roots the deepening, unseen growth happening inside of me as I continue to say yes to you. Father, let me be more concerned with faithfulness than visibility. Let me remember that David was anointed in secret long before he was crowned in public, that Jesus grew in wisdom and stature for 30 years before performing a single miracle. That wilderness is not punishment but preparation. That waiting rooms are where warriors are made. So today, I yield again. I yield my plans, my timing, my need for control. I yield my fear of missing out, fear of being forgotten, fear of failure. I give you my questions, not because I do not want answers, but because I trust you more than I trust what I think I need to know. I give you my fatigue, the weariness that tries to convince me that waiting is wasted. I give you my dreams, not because they do not matter, but because I know they are safest in your hands. And I give you my praise, not as a transaction, but as a declaration that you are good. Whether or not I see the breakthrough today, Lord, walk with me through the small things. The conversations that seem insignificant, the decisions no one else notices, the attitudes I carry in quiet corners of my mind. These are the places where character is built. These are the places where legacy begins. I do not want to chase moments. I want to be molded by you. I want to be shaped in the fire, not scorched by it. I want to walk through valleys with dignity and ascend mountains with humility. I want to reflect your heart in all seasons, not just in the ones where I see the fruit. And if today looks like more waiting, I will wait with worship. If it looks like another closed door, I will praise you in the hallway. If it looks like repetition and routine, I will still bring my best. Because you are in it all. You are not only the God of the finish line, but also the God of the journey. And I do not want to miss what you are doing in me, because I am too focused on what I want you to do for me. Let this day be holy, not because of what happens to me, but because of how I walk with you through it. Father, when discouragement tries to find a home in my heart, fill those rooms with reminders of your goodness. When impatience rises like a storm, speak stillness to my soul. When I am tempted to compare my pace to others, help me honor the path you have given me. Remind me that I am not in a race against anyone. I am being refined, not rushed. And what you are doing in me is personal, intentional, and worth every minute of the wait. Let gratitude be my anchor. Let hope be my horizon. Let trust be my testimony. I know the breakthrough is not just a moment, but a becoming. It is not just about what is released, but what is revealed. So reveal yourself in deeper ways today. Let my longing lead me closer to you, not further into frustration. Let my faith be more than feelings. Let it be the foundation. I stand when the wind howls and the skies darken. Let it be the light I carry into every conversation, every decision, every detail of the day. Thank you for being near. Thank you for being enough. Thank you for seeing what I cannot and holding what I dare not carry alone. I trust you with today. I trust you with tomorrow. And I trust that even now, as I speak these words, you are already working behind the scenes of my life, orchestrating something beautiful, something holy, something that will not only bless me, but bless others through me. So I take another step forward, not because I know what comes next, but because I know who walks with me. Lord, in the quiet hush of this final stretch, I come to you not to end anything, to lean deeper into the river of your presence that has flowed so faithfully from the first word spoken to this very breath. You have walked me through valleys and lifted me upon unseen heights in this journey of prayer, and now I find myself not at a conclusion, but at a beginning, once more a beginning shaped by greater trust, fuller surrender, and deeper intimacy with you. The path behind me is marked by tears that taught me, silence that strengthened me, and hope that refused to let go. You have been the constant, unmoved, unwavering, and unchanging even when everything else around me shifted. God, it amazes me how you never run out of mercy, of patience, of presence. You never say it is too late, never look away in disappointment, never give up on the fragile parts of me. You take my doubt and shape it into deeper belief. You take my weakness and turn it into worship. You take my questions and use them to draw me closer, not drive me away. Every time I have come to you empty, you have filled me in a way the world never could. And now, as I look around at the life I am still becoming, I can finally say you were in it all, even in the unanswered, even in the waiting, especially in the waiting. Father, I think of how a sunrise does not rush to reveal itself. It rises slowly, scattering shadows with warmth, whispering its way into the sky. That is how you move in my life, gently, faithfully, never rushed, never forced. You come like the morning, soft but certain, casting light on what was hidden and calling out the good in places I had given up on. You illuminate the cracks in my heart, not to shame me, but to fill them. And in that light, I see you have always been more interested in who I become than what I accomplish. Thank you, Lord, for walking with me even when I crawled, for holding me when I was too tired to pray, for singing over me when all I could offer was silence. Thank you for being the peace that anchored me and the promise that pulled me forward. Thank you for not only listening to my words, but understanding the things I did not know how to say. You are not a God who demands perfection. You are a Father who delights in connection. And the more I learn that truth, the more I crave to stay in the place where prayer is not an act, but a way of breathing. In this moment, I sense you near, not in a distant, holy thunder, but in the steady nearness of a friend who leans in close. You are not far off. You are not waiting for me to get things right. You are right here, in this very breath, this very heartbeat, this stillness. And as I prepare to carry this quiet into the noise of the day, I ask you to keep this nearness close. Let me not forget what it felt like to walk beside you in prayer like this. Let me not lose the posture of surrender when life tries to push me back into self-reliance. Keep my heart soft, my spirit yielded, and my eyes lifted. God, I know the road ahead will not always be easy. There will still be valleys. There will still be moments when fear tries to disguise itself as logic, when disappointment tries to dress up as realism. But now I know where to go. I know who to run to. I know what it means to stay rooted in a place where no matter the storm, the roots run deep because they run into you. I carry this confidence not because I am strong, but because you are. Not because I know what tomorrow holds, because I trust the one who holds tomorrow. I pray that others walking this same road would feel this hope, that wherever they are in the light or in the shadows, they would sense you beside them, whispering that they are not alone. I pray that my life becomes evidence of your faithfulness, a living letter of grace, a testimony of what it means to be carried, shaped, and renewed. Let every word of this journey bear fruit in someone else's desert. Let every breath of this prayer become wind in another's sails. And let your name be glorified, not just in what you have done, but in how we walk because of it. As I reach this final chapter, I pause not to close, but to thank you for every soul who has joined this sacred path. Thank you for every heart that whispered these prayers into the silence, for every tear that fell in the dark, for every voice that dared to hope again. May they carry with them the assurance that they are seen, they are heard, and they are deeply loved. Let them know that this is not the end. This is only the unfolding. You are still writing, still working, still whispering promises over their lives. To those who have traveled with me through these words, thank you. Your presence here has made this sacred space even more beautiful. If these prayers have stirred something in your heart, I invite you to share your thoughts, your stories, or even your own prayers in the comments below. You never know whose valley your voice might reach. This is how faith is multiplied through honesty, through courage, through communion. And if you have felt the warmth of God's presence in this journey, do not let it stop here. Subscribe to this channel so that your soul continues to be nourished each day. Share this prayer with someone who needs a reminder that they are not forgotten, that they are deeply loved, and that their story is far from over. Let us walk in faith, together, one sunrise at a time. And now, I will leave you here, not with a final word, but with an image, a gentle breeze moving through the morning trees, sunlight breaking softly over the horizon, and a river of peace flowing, steady and sure, reminding us that even in the stillness, God is always moving,